Chapter 722. Considering the large number of people, Xianxia arranged for a bus. On the bus, all the Taoist masters got on the bus. The onlookers were amazed and took out their cell phones to take photos. Sister E is really impressive. She actually managed to invite so many Taoist masters to help her. Little did they know that it wasn't Xianxia who invited them at all. It was the Taoist masters who took the initiative to come. At a private restaurant, the manager of this restaurant and Xianxia were childhood friends. Today, he specially cleared the place to receive Xianxia and the others. The weather was good, so everyone sat in the courtyard. They lit up the lanterns and the light was hazy. There was a gentle breeze and the fragrance of the lotus flowers wafted in the air. The audience found it enjoyable to watch the live broadcast, as if the rhythm of life had slowed down. Xianxia and the Taoist masters discussed the talismans. Due to the thin spiritual energy, the talismans did not have much of a reaction. They existed more as a cultural symbol. In addition to discussions, they also drew on the spot. Xianxia looked at his little niece who was like the moon surrounded by stars and happily discussed with Shui beside him. Look at little Xianxia. Doesn't she look like she was forced to perform in front of the elders during the new year and was forced to open for business? Thinking of the past, Shui smiled. He remembered that one year, when the young lady came to pay New Year's greetings, she wore 2 ponytails and sang softly to the elders. She was so adorable. The crowd burst into exclamations from time to time. Amazing! It's amazing! Xianxia can actually draw so many talismans in one go. She's really amazing. Sigh. I suddenly realized that I'm not only lacking a hand, but also a brain. On the other side, Yu and Xu Xinglan sat side by side, eating milk candy. Xu Xinglan looked at Xianxia from afar with admiration in her eyes. She sighed softly and said, Miss Xiang is so amazing. Yu said coldly, she has a boyfriend. Xu Xinglan said, I don't want her to be my girlfriend. Yu chewed on the candy and said expressionlessly, my uncle has a girlfriend too. Xu Xinglan was speechless. Little kid, are you misunderstanding something? The sword is his wife. I have many swords. Taking advantage of the fact that there was no one around, Xu Xinglan straightened his chest and showed Yu the photo of the sword. He showed off a little childishly. This is my first wife, second wife and third wife, Yu said. Brother, you're such a playboy. Xu Xinglan corrected him. This isn't called being a playboy. Having a lot of girlfriends is called being a playboy. Yu said. Then you can have a girlfriend. Xu Xinglan said seriously, no, women will affect the speed at which I draw my sword. The conversation between the adult and the child was completely recorded by the camera. In the live stream, everyone was amused by Xu Xinglan's words. Ha ha ha, so his wife is a sword. Let the 2 little brothers keep chatting. I won't be annoyed even if I watch it for a day. What the F***ck? Women can affect the speed at which I draw my sword? Brother, you're destined to be alone for the rest of your life. At this moment, the store manager came over to apologize to Xianxia. I'm sorry, there are 2 chefs on break today. Plus, we have a lot of customers here, so the kitchen can't handle it all. It might take a little longer to serve the dishes. Are you short of a chef? A voice as gentle as the sound of nature rang out. The store manager replied without hesitation, Of course we're short of one. But it's not easy to find one. I happen to know how to cook a little. The store manager turned his head and made eye contact with Xianxia. He didn't watch the live stream and was extremely surprised at this moment. Miss Xiang, you actually know how to cook? Chapter 723. He had heard of the Xiang family's tradition of doting on their daughters. Shouldn't the little girl who's the apple of their eye be pampered and live a pampered life? Xianxia smiled and said, It's just a hobby of mine, so I spent some time studying it. The pop-up comments in the live stream were neat and tidy. It's nothing, Sister E only knows how to cook a little. The store manager said cautiously, Then, I'll have to trouble you, Miss Xiang? He looked at Xianxia, afraid that his friend would disagree. To his surprise, Xianxia's eyes lit up and he exclaimed, Little Xianxia, I want to eat fried chicken. The store manager was speechless. Could it be that the rumors are false? Okay. The young lady was very polite and courteous. After greeting Taoist Ran and the others, she went to the kitchen. In the kitchen, the head chef was giving instructions to the chefs under him. Due to the lack of manpower, the kitchen was a little chaotic at this moment. When he saw Xianxia coming in and heard that she was going to cook, the head chef immediately flew into a rage. However, he couldn't flare up because of the live stream. Miss Xiang, right? I'm sorry, but there's a lot of smoke in our kitchen. I don't want to dirty your clothes. Please wait outside for a moment. The cold dishes will be served soon. Xianxia said warmly, I see that you guys are too busy. Is there anything I can help you with? I can even cut and stir-fry vegetables. The head chef was full of disdain. This female celebrity probably only knows how to cook tomato scrambled eggs or something. She just has to show off on the live stream. My kitchen is not for people like her to gain fame. When he spoke again, the head chef inevitably said in a sarcastic tone, We don't have enough manpower. At most, the dishes will be served a little slower, but if Miss Xiang scalds your hands and scalds your face, we can't afford to take responsibility. Xianxia blinked. She wasn't someone who didn't know the ways of the world. On the contrary, she had seen countless people of all shapes and sizes in the world she transmigrated to. She just couldn't be bothered to socialize. Sensing the other party's resistance, Xianxia did not intend to persuade him. Her deer-like eyes looked around and landed on a deserted area. Can I borrow the kitchen utensils over there? She was referring to the workstations of the two chefs who were on leave. They had stoves, pots, and ovens. The head chef said impatiently, Since Miss Xiang insists, I have nothing else to say. You can use any ingredients and condiments you want. I just hope that Miss Xiang will pay attention to your safety and avoid any accidents in the kitchen. Xianxia nodded calmly and walked to the workbench to familiarize herself with the kitchen utensils. The head chef looked over and saw her tossing the pot and shaking the ladle. He complained softly, You're just putting on an act. Not to mention the others, just those few pots alone, the lightest one was 3 to 6 caddies, while the biggest one was over 10 caddies. This was just the quality of an empty wok. After adding the ingredients, the weight would increase. Moreover, there was also a method called tossing the pot, which was usually done with one hand. A normal person's dominant hand was their left hand. An ordinary person's wrist would feel sore just by holding it, not to mention tossing it frequently. She was such a delicate and weak little girl. With her slender arms, wouldn't her arms break if she were to toss the pot? Ha! The head chef lowered his head and busied himself with the dishes. When he finally finished preparing the cold dishes, he instructed the kitchen staff to serve the dishes and inadvertently glanced at Xianxia. In an instant, he was dumbfounded. Who could tell him why that young lady tossed the ladle so easily and casually? Moreover, she used the biggest and heaviest pot. Chapter 724. The head chef wasn't the only one who was dumbfounded. The others were also dumbfounded. Oh my God, this girl is too strong. How did she manage to cook so many dishes in the blink of an eye? Why does it feel like she's more efficient than the few of us combined? The head chef's expression changed and he became gloomy. He was originally the sous chef of a 5-star hotel, but he was poached by the manager of this private restaurant. The benefits he received were very good. Over time, he couldn't help but become a little lazy. For example, his cooking speed had dropped a lot. Fortunately, there weren't many people in the private restaurant, so it wasn't obvious. Now that he had Xianxia, in comparison, he seemed too slow. The audience watching the live stream also noticed it. Damn! Is Sister E an octopus? She's so fast. She's really good at planning. Damn it, if I had such a brain, would I still fail my math exam? Do you guys feel that the other chefs are cooking so slowly? Xianxia has already cooked a few dishes, but they're still making cold dishes. I didn't notice it before you mentioned it, but now that you mention it, it's really... they're not as fast as Xianxia. In order to regain his position in front of everyone, the head chef said with a cold expression, You two choppers, hurry up. Don't dilly-dally. Although he was urging, he didn't forget to remind Xianxia, Don't blindly pursue speed. After all, we're a high-end private restaurant, and the dishes must be exquisite. If you cook in a big pot, the customers will be very disappointed. The head chef was still very confident in his seasoning and plate presentation skills. After all, he had been doing this for decades and he had some real skills. However, when two cooks came over to serve the dishes, they each brought one for him and one for Xianxia. Coincidentally, Both of them were making a salad with assorted vegetables, and the dishes they chose were similar. They both included tofu skin, carrots, potatoes, cucumbers, enoki mushrooms, lotus roots, and other ingredients. The head chef's plate presentation was arranged in a circle, and each dish took up a spot. He even used carrots as decorations. Although it was exquisite, but the aesthetic was slightly rustic. Xianxia arranged the dishes in a Tai Chi pattern. The ingredients on the bottom layer were shredded, while the ingredients on the top layer were diced. Peanuts and sesame seeds were sprinkled on top. It was simple, but it was ingenious. For some reason, it looked better than the head chef's dish presentation. This little girl is quite pretty. Yeah, the colors match so well. It's so harmonious. Everyone admired the strong, and the chefs were no exception. They couldn't help but praise Xianxia. This compliment angered the head chef. What do you know? Do you work with your hands or your mouth? Hurry up and cook. Everyone immediately fell silent. However, by the time the chef had finished his third dish, Xianxia had already finished her sixth dish. She also made some soy milk boxes and pudding and put them in the fridge for dessert. Xianxia calculated that the dishes were enough for a while, so she poured a pot of oil and started to make fried chicken. When she first started making the cold dishes, she had already marinated the chicken. Flour, starch, egg, honey, and other ingredients were mixed well. She threw the tender and juicy chicken into it, rolled it around, and soaked it in the oil. Sizzle. The unique sound of explosives was transmitted to everyone's electronic devices through the top-notch sound recording equipment. Chapter 725. The audience was going crazy. I'm swallowing my saliva like crazy. She's releasing poison in the middle of the night. I was planning to go on a diet, but I've already opened some perverted apps. I'm different from you guys. In addition to the fried chicken, I've also ordered barbecued prawn shell and milk tea. At this moment, the first batch of fried chicken was almost done. Xianxia scooped out the fried chicken with a colander. The skin was crispy and light yellow, and the camera zoomed in on it. The grease could even be seen dripping off bit by bit. Everyone. How is this a lifestyle variety show? This is a food variety show. After drying the fried chicken in oil, Xianxia fried it a second time. This time, the color of the fried chicken turned into an appetizing golden yellow, and the skin became scaly. It looked even more delicious than the ones bought from fast food restaurants. Xianxia used a large wok to fry a lot of fried chicken in one go, and she got someone to bring it out. In the courtyard. Perhaps by coincidence, Xu Xinglan and Ren Daozhong sat together. The two of them talked about swordsmanship for a while, and it seemed that they were kindred spirits. Xu Xinglan held his little wife, the spare sword in addition to the broken one, and said seriously, "In this world, nothing is more important than my sword." The audience in the live stream automatically interpreted his words as, "In this world, nothing is more important than my wife." Then, the fried chicken was served. The domineering aroma instantly silenced the noisy courtyard. Even the Taoist masters, who were usually indifferent to good food, suddenly felt a little hungry at this time. Xiang Feng laughed wildly. "Our little bunny is so obedient." He picked up a large drumstick and handed it to Shi Yu as per the usual practice of the Xiang family. The little boy took it, feeling a little flattered as he stared at it in a daze for a long time. He took a whiff almost greedily. "It smells so good." Xiang Feng put the other drumstick into the rice bowl in front of him. A glutton's soul, a glutton needs a basin to eat. A life without a bowl of rice is a life without a soul. Ren Daozhong chuckled and took out his own wok. The two of them looked into each other's eyes, and suddenly there was a feeling of a hero cherishing another hero. Hee, my brother is steady. He's comparable to my third son. So there are people in this world who have the same thoughts as me. He was not alone in this Tao. As for Xu Xinglan, the hand that was holding the sword couldn't help but tremble slightly. Damn it. Why is Miss Xiang's fried chicken so tempting people to commit crimes? In particular, Xiang Feng, who was sitting at the same table, had already begun to eat heartily. A certain domineering CEO had no care for his image. His mouth was wide open, and with one bite, half a drumstick was gone. Crack! Under the crispy skin was the tender and juicy chicken meat. The combination of the two created a simple little happiness. Xianxia also used the condiments in the kitchen to prepare ketchup, honey mustard, sweet and spicy sauce, sweet and sour sauce, garlic sauce, and several other sauces to satisfy everyone's needs to the greatest extent. The piping hot fried chicken dipped in sauce really tasted amazing. Even if it was junk food, he would accept it. How could delicious junk food be called junk food? It was called happiness. Xu Xinglan desperately used all his self-control to resist the temptation of the fried chicken. However, the iced Coke that Xianxia brought over was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Oh! The young man couldn't hold it in anymore. He subconsciously let go of his sword and grabbed a chicken wing. Ow! Chapter 726. The young man's concubine fell to the ground. The people at the same table looked at him in surprise. This kid. Didn't he just say that swords are the most important thing? Xu Xinglan's 5 senses were all focused on the fried chicken. The young man's eyes went from shock to daze. The crispy skin, tender meat, and hot fried chicken paired with cold cola were so delicious that it made him want to swallow his tongue. There was actually something in this world that was more blissful than collecting wives. Xu Xinglan felt as if a mysterious door had opened in front of him. The netizens also saw the process of him smelling good and smiled. Brother has vividly shown us what it means to go from resistance to surrender. Xu Xinglan, I didn't want to eat and drink, she gave me too much. Are you sword cultivators also casual about throwing your wife away just like that? This is simply abandoning his wife and child. Sigh, is this the distortion of human nature or the decay of morals? The lights were gentle and the courtyard was filled with a fragrant aroma. The blue stone tiles in the courtyard were as clear as water. Occasionally, the wind would blow and blow a few petals off the trees. Even if they fell into the vegetables, it didn't dampen the mood. Xianxia sipped her cola and secretly used a pair of tongs to pick up a piece of ice, but her wrist was grabbed by a pair of warm hands. Your period is coming soon, isn't it? Shi Sui leaned against the back of the chair and bent his long legs lazily. Didn't Sister Yi say that ice is cold, so we should eat less? Xianxia was a little guilty, but she was still stubborn. Chili is hot. I'll eat more spicy food later to neutralize it. Shi Sui raised his eyebrows. Oh! He didn't say much and simply stared at Xianxia with a faint smile. His entire silhouette seemed gentle under the light, but it couldn't hide his sharp and fierce aura. The ice melted slightly and a few drops of water dripped into the small bucket. Sigh, this is the trouble of being in love, right? Xianxia thought to herself. She felt that there was one more person controlling her now. The little girl reluctantly let go of his hand. I'll drink room temperature, she whispered, her voice a little muffled. Shi Sui rubbed her little head and turned off their microphones. She leaned over to the girl's ear and whispered a few words. His hot breath lingered on the girl's milky white neck, and his thin lips were almost touching the girl's reddened collarbone. This scene was enough to make the untimely couple fans go crazy. I announce that they have consummated their marriage. It's born. It's a big fat boy. Bull*T, I was there. She's clearly a cute little girl. Help, the fans have turned into idiots and are showing signs of spreading from person to person. No one knew what Shi Sui said, but Xianxia blushed from her collarbone to the tips of her ears. Once the distance between them was increased, the young girl's soft white fingertips lightly pinched his ears twice. It was so hot. Shi Sui's words kept repeating in her mind. Xianxia felt sweet, but she was so shy. The uncle next door suddenly said mysteriously, does everyone know that if you eat fried food often, your face will get pimples? Perhaps because he was too serious, everyone at the table subconsciously became serious as well. Pimples. Shut up. Blisters from excessive heat. Even the viewers in the live stream curiously joined in on the speculation. All of their curiosity was piqued. Xiang Feng let out a cheerful squawk. Of course it's a smile, ha 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 ha. Everyone was speechless. Seems like there's nothing wrong with it? Chapter 727. Today's live broadcast ended amidst laughter and cheers. The Taoist masters had their wishes fulfilled. After dinner, they bid farewell to Xianxia one after another. Before leaving, Taoist Master Ren specially added Xianxia into their group chat. Dozens of added messages appeared on Xianxia's phone. She accepted them one by one. Her phone buzzed for a long time before it returned to silence. She rubbed her sore eyes. After some treatment, her myopia had recovered, but it would still hurt after looking at electronic products for a long time. Don't rub it. Shi Sui held her hand and pulled her into his arms. He gently massaged the little girl's temples with his fingers. Xiangyi closed her eyes and couldn't help but moan in pleasure. A certain best actor paused for a moment before returning to his normal pace. At the side, Xu Xinglan was still eating fried chicken. This child had eaten so much that her stomach was bloated. Yu looked at Shi Sui and Xiangyi curiously. The way they interacted was a little strange to him. His parents didn't have a good relationship. Yu, children shouldn't always watch others show off their affection. Xiang Feng patted Shi Yu's shoulder and said in an experienced tone, "Otherwise, you'll only be a single dog when you grow up." Shi Yu asked innocently, "Grandpa, why don't you find a grandma?" Xiang Feng sighed. "You don't understand. I clearly want to find one, but every time I see a girl, I don't want to socialize. Wanting someone to accompany him, but also wanting to be alone. This was the trouble of modern adults." Shi Yu said, "Grandpa, have you ever thought that your thinking is too narrow? Why do you have to have requirements about gender?" Xiang Feng? A child's words carry no harm. It must be a child's words, Shi Yu continued. It's also possible that someone else has a request, but Grandpa, you didn't fulfill that request. Xu Xinglan chewed on a chicken wing and puffed up her cheeks. "Little brother, what you said makes a lot of sense." Xiang Feng. Were all the little brat's words so hurtful these days? Every blade was stabbing into his heart. "Do you believe that I'll spank you?" Xiang Feng rolled up his sleeves angrily, but when he saw the muscles on Xu Xinglan's forearm, even though he was skinny, he looked strong. Xiang Feng silently pulled his sleeve back up. "Don't misunderstand. He wasn't a coward. Follow your heart and let nature take its course, understand?" The production team held a meeting, and after the meeting, Li Jianyu came to the courtyard with a small notebook and briefly told Shi Sui and Xiangyi about the guests that weekend. "The two big names that we've invited this time were something that we've fought hard to get. One of them is a legendary singer, and the other is an international dubber. However, there are rumors that the two of them are not on good terms. This week's live stream might not be easy to do. I'll have to trouble Sister E and Daddy Shi." The two of them expressed their understanding. After talking about some topics related to the program, Li Jianyu looked at Xiang Feng. After all, Xiang Feng was the big boss of Xingchen Livestream and the biggest sponsor of Two Under One Roof. Li Jianyu felt the need to suck up to his boss. "President Xiang, do you have any objections?" Xiang Feng wiped his mouth and revealed the standard devilish smile of a domineering CEO. "Do you have enough money to spend?" Li Jianyu. "It's enough. With Sister E around, we've saved a lot of money." "Save what money? Spend it. Don't come looking for me if you can't spend it all." Li Jianyu. "Huh, using money to insult me? So what?" In the next second, his loud and cheerful voice sounded in the courtyard. "Okay, thank you, Daddy." Chapter 728. Everyone couldn't help but laugh at Li Jianyu's obsequious behavior. The crew of Two Under One Roof was basically made up of young people, and the atmosphere had always been good. They also had a strong and unshakable core cohesion. Sister Yi's cooking. Other variety shows had a lot of staff turnover, but the crew of Two Under One Roof almost never changed jobs. No one could poach them. Other variety shows are also speechless. "We've already offered such a high price. You guys should at least be tempted. Is Xiangyi's cooking really that good?" Everyone got into a car and rushed to Little Rabbit Farm. The moment Xiangyi got into the car, a familiar notification sounded in her mind. Ding! The girl raised her eyebrows and communicated with the system in her sea of consciousness. The little system had probably been holding back for too many days and finally couldn't help but issue a mission to Xiangyi. "Host, please conquer the male lead as soon as possible. Not only do you have to win his heart, but you also have to get his body." Due to the restrictions of the rules, after Xiangyi turned on the shielding mode, the system couldn't speak unless it issued a mission. Although that person had told it not to communicate too much with Xiangyi, it was really bored. Xiangyi was speechless. She increasingly suspected that the system wasn't very serious. In fact, she already had a guess in her mind, and Xiangyi felt that it was infinitely close to the truth. She lowered her long black eyelashes and asked, "If I can't complete it, will I be obliterated like Ling Yi?" Her soul, which was also her consciousness, would completely disappear. That was the cruelest punishment. The little system felt a little guilty. Did she find out something? However, the words it said were very official. Host, please take the conquering mission seriously and don't slack off. Xianxia leaned against the back seat and said slowly, What should I do? I don't think I can do it. The little system subconsciously said, How can that be? According to the test, the male lead's affection for you has already reached 100%. Not to mention getting his body, he won't hesitate even if you ask him to cut his heart out. Sigh. You don't understand. The girl's tone was downcast. I just can't get over the hurdle in my heart. Maybe his misogyny has infected me. What? Does the host have misogyny? The little system couldn't understand how Xianxia got such a disease, but it was just a data flow after all. Even though it had artificial intelligence, however, he was still not a real person. It believed Xiangxi's words. Then why don't I discuss it with the main system and give you another mission? The little system coughed. You just have to focus on your career and work hard to become the most popular female celebrity. Here, let's set this as a side mission. It thought that it had thought of the most logical and perfect solution, but Xianxia instantly found a loophole. Is that you? Or, is it you guys? The young girl's question seemed to come out of nowhere, but it shocked the little system. If it had a physical body, its hair would have stood on end. The little system was silent for a long time, trying to play dead. It's okay if it's not convenient to talk about it. I just want to ask, is he okay? Woo woo woo. Ishan was so smart. As expected of the gold medal support who had completed all the transmigration missions. It said weakly, he just exists in a different form. Although she didn't give a clear answer, the young girl's eyebrows still curved. That's really, really great. Chapter 729. Upon hearing her words, the system began to tear up again, although it didn't have a nose. Sob sob sob. Goddessy is so gentle. I actually participated in the plan to deceive her. The little system was rolling around in a sea of numbers. Ah, should I apologize to Ishen? She's such a nice person, she'll forgive me. Right? In the manner. Xu Xinglan tagged along, blushing. Although the young man said that he wanted to ask Xianxia for advice on swordsmanship, he understood everything. She didn't expose him for the sake of the Xu family. Xiang Feng led him and Shi Yu to the hot spring at Little Rabbit Farm to take a bath. Shi Sui returned to her room to take a shower. As for Xianxia, she had already changed into comfortable home clothes and switched on the television to watch a variety show. She then hugged Xiao Naofu and little Shiji in her arms. All of a sudden, the television began to buzz and black and white static appeared. Afterwards, Xianxia sensed that someone was contacting her in her sea of consciousness. She closed her eyes and focused her thoughts. At the same time, she also allowed herself to fall asleep. In the familiar space, she saw a familiar figure. It was a pale and exquisite young man who was as beautiful as an angel. It was Ling Yi. He was someone Xianxia knew when she was about to transmigrate. Previously, he had once occupied the body of Ling Yi in this dimension to assist Qin Wanyan in her mission. However, he suddenly disappeared later on. Xianxia once thought that he had been erased by the system. However, she later sensed that something was amiss. Xianxia tried several times, but the new system that she had bound herself to gave her too much freedom. It didn't seem like it wanted her to complete the mission as soon as possible. Instead, it seemed like she would never be able to complete the mission. She then thought about what Ling Yi had done previously. Xianxia guessed that the system had something to do with Ling Yi. However, she didn't expect Ling Yi to take the initiative to look for her. Their gazes met gently in the air. The system remained silent and didn't dare to speak. After a long silence, Ling Yi said, "Long time no see, sister." Xianxia responded calmly, "Long time no see." Ling Yi said helplessly, "I knew you would guess it." However, he also knew that if he used this trick on others, it would definitely be seen through if he used it on his sister. It was only a matter of time. Xianxia asked gently, "Are you okay?" The young man gulped. Perhaps only his sister would care about him. That's pretty good. Ling Yi smiled. "Big sis, I lied to you. How are you going to punish me? I think you have your own reasons." "Sister, aren't you going to ask what it is?" "Your matters have nothing to do with me." "So cold." The young man shrugged. "It seems that I've been thinking too much." Sister really doesn't care about me. He had planned so much to show off to Xianxia. There would also be a, look, I've gotten rid of the main system. Am I awesome? This kind of mentality. But in the end, Xianxia didn't care about this so-called system at all. Xianxia looked at him. Will you be discovered? Ling Ye's dim eyes suddenly lit up. Sister, are you worried about me? Xianxia said helplessly, we've known each other for a while. I don't want to see you get erased. Ling Yi said confidently, no. He emphasized, absolutely not. He walked toward Xianxia. His appearance changed little by little until it finally settled on a young man with black hair and tea eyes. He looked somewhat similar to Ling Yi, but he was more dazzling and arrogant. Chapter 730. Very soon, Xianxia understood what the little system meant by existing in a different form. Ling Yi raised his hand. His forearm, which was supposed to be ethereal like a soul, had turned into a piece of data made up of numbers. Xiangxi's expression changed slightly. Although you've already guessed it, I still want to tell you how powerful I am now. Ling Yi behaved like a child, showing off his toy to those close to him. That's right. I've turned into a piece of data, or rather a program. Every transmigration system's wish was to turn from a program into a physical body. However, Ling Yi had done the exact opposite. He had turned from a physical body into a piece of data. Xiangxia did not comment on his choice. After all, she was not Ling Yi. She did not know what he had experienced, what kind of environment he was in, or what kind of mood he was in. Why do you insist on existing in a human form? Ling Ye's body kept changing. In this space, he had absolute control. His arms were like those in sci-fi movies. They turned into the body of a furry animal, the outer shell of a cold mecha, and some kind of liquid that glowed with the luster of stars. The current me has the right of a god. I can exist in any network in the myriad of planes. Ling Ye's lips curled into a frivolous smile. Even the main system can't kill me. Xiangxia gasped in amazement. He had actually thought of such a thing, and it had actually come true. You're very powerful. You're a genius, Xiangxia commented. Ling Yi was not satisfied with her mere numbers. He tilted his head as if he was acting spoiled, and his eyes curved beautifully. Sister, if you want, I can help you. Thank you, but there's no need. Xiangxia was not moved by his offer. I feel that the way I am right now is very good. She had a family and a lover, and she was living a peaceful and stable life. Ling Ye's smile disappeared, and he carefully sized up Xiangxia. The girl's expression was magnanimous, without any pretense. Ling Yi mocked himself. His sister had a choice, but he had no choice. It's fine. Since you're not interested now, I won't mention it. When you change your mind, you can contact me at any time. However, Xiangxia thought of another question. That mission is related to the main system? Or did you just randomly post it? Ling Yi winked mischievously. Does Big Sister think that I'll hand you over to another man? Are you the legendary oily being in the human world? Ling Yi gritted his teeth and lowered his head dejectedly. Initially, he thought that it would be useful to study some romance novels. Who would have thought that it would backfire? He muttered, I didn't do it. It was indeed released by the main system. But it doesn't matter if I can finish it or not. The plane you're in now is equivalent to a single-player game. Because I've taken advantage of the loophole, the main system won't realize that we've gone offline. So that was the case. However, she still had a question. Is my world really a book? Well, that depends on what elder sister thinks. To Big Sister, this is your world, but to others, this is a book. There is no conflict between the two. Xiangxia was deep in thought. After a moment, she said calmly, You go surfing. I'm leaving. Bye-bye. She ended the dream and opened her eyes. At a glance, she saw the man in a black bathrobe looking at her with a faint smile. Chapter 731. The warm lights flowed like water, pouring down in torrents. Xiangxi's heart skipped a beat, but she forced herself to remain calm. Are you done showering? As soon as the words left her mouth, she regretted it. Why did it feel weird? Shui rested his elbows on the sofa cushion and took off his sunglasses. His peach blossom eyes were darker than the night outside the window as he stared unblinkingly at his little bunny. Aha! Xianxia was a little embarrassed by his stare. She picked up Xiao Naofu and stood between the two of them, as if this was the only way to feel safe. Xiao Naofu's icy blue cat eyes widened. Meow meow meow? Is this Huhu a tool tiger? Shui raised his hand and scratched Xiao Naofu's chin twice. Xiao Naofu's heart refused, but the dogman's stroking was too comfortable. The kitten even began to snore. This was the peak of a tiger's life. Not long after, Xiao Naofu softened into a puddle of cat biscuit and lay in Shui's arms, calling out coquettishly, "Meow meow, Xianxia, did you fall asleep just now?" Shui was multitasking and naturally found a topic to talk about. "Aha." Xianxia nodded. "Ahem. You forgot to fix your collar. Let me help you." Shui was wearing a black silk bathrobe. The style was loose, but his belt was loosely tied, which resulted in his collar was mostly open, revealing his fair skin from his collarbone to his chest. Xianxia was like a worried mother fan. She raised her hand to fix Shui's collar, afraid that his skin would be exposed. Her slender wrist was clasped by the man's large hand, and a steady stream of heat was transmitted to her. Shui chuckled. "How do you know if I forgot or did it on purpose?" "Ha!" Xianxia froze for a few seconds before gradually coming to her senses. Her face instantly burned. Did her boyfriend mean that he did it on purpose, for her to see? Shui looked at the little girl's flushed cheeks and her head was almost smoking. She lowered her voice, as if she was bewitching a demon, but also as if she was purely discussing scientific knowledge. "Do you want to know what abdominal muscles feel like?" Boom! To little Bunny, this was simply beyond the limits of her shyness. She was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on as she shrunk to the other end of the sofa. "No, I don't want to," she said in a tone that did not mean what she said. However, Shui still asked slowly, "You really don't want to?" "Ugh." Xiao Naofu saw that the stupid woman's face was as red as a shrimp and was very puzzled. "Weren't they just abs? What's the big deal? This Huhu will touch it for you." Hence, she lifted Shui's bathrobe with her furry paws and pressed them on his well-defined abs. "Meow." Xiao Naofu poked it curiously. "Hey, it's completely different from the stupid woman's fragrant and soft body. Sister E, it said that pets follow their owners. You cat are acting like a hooligan." Shui said with a lazy smile. Xianxia waved her hands repeatedly. "No, no. Xiao Naofu, let go." In a moment of desperation she blurted out, "All of them." Shui's dark eyes narrowed. Xiao Naofu, however, became playful. First, it pretended to obediently move its paws away. Then, it curiously pressed below the abs. "Meow. Why do my paws feel hot?" Xianxia grabbed the blanket next to her and covered her head. Shui's expression did not change. She picked up the kitten and slowly brought it in front of her. "Do you want Big Brother to kiss you?" Xiao Naofu frantically fluttered in the air. "Meow meow 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 meow. Don't King come over." Chapter 732. Xiao Naofu resisted desperately, but the instigator, Shui, had a lazy and playful look. His eyes were dark, his lips were pale, and his jawline was smooth and clear. His perfect and noble face was getting closer and closer. Smack! It was imprinted on Xiao Naofu's forehead. Xiao Naofu let out a humiliated roar. "Woof woof 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 woof. I'm dirty! I'm dirty!" After kissing the kitten, Shui released its grip. Xiao Naofu seemed to have suffered a huge blow as it looked at Xianxia aggrievedly and barked twice. Xianxia wanted to hug it, but the kitten shook its ears, afraid that the dog would take revenge on it again. It scurried away with its chubby little legs. Little Shiji barked and chased after them anxiously. Not long after, the cat and dog disappeared without a trace. They had no idea where they had gone to hide. Xianxia was puzzled. Did Xiao Naofu hate me? Little did she know that a certain Huhu was really scared. All the gifts of fate had been secretly marked with a price. This is the price of being molested by a dog. Is it angry with me? Xianxia began to reflect on her actions in the past few days. Every day, she would cook delicious cat food for Xiao Naofu, provide it with some snacks, play with it for an hour, and coax it to sleep at night. She would also tell it stories, watch cartoons, listen to music, and so on. Was she not good enough? Children have grown up and have their own little temper. Shui said lazily, his hand wrapped around Xiao Naofu's slender waist. With a little force, he easily pulled her into his arms. Their posture changed to that of a tall man hugging the slender girl from behind. Xiangxi's ears began to burn again, but she didn't push him away. Raising children doesn't seem to be that easy. Not only did she have to pay attention to her diet, but she also had to pay attention to her mood. Don't raise them then, Shui said. Xiangxi turned around and asked, Don't you like children? I only like Xiangxi. Xiangxi bit her lips at the sudden words of love. Then, she boldly put her arms around Shui's neck. Her soft voice trembled slightly, but it was firm and brave. I also like Shui. Was this a mutual confession? After Xiangxi finished speaking, she couldn't help but bury her face in Shui's collarbone. The soft flesh on the back of Shui's neck was completely red. Shui patted her back and comforted her gently. Xiangxi adjusted her emotions, and soon, the girl returned to her usual calm and steady appearance. I'm a transmigrator with a gold medal as support. What does a few words of love count for? The little girl comforted herself in her heart. Then with a taut face she said in shock, You said it last night. Let's begin. In the courtyard of the private restaurant, Shui turned off the microphone and said a few words to her. That is, the two of them watched a movie together. The kind where they held hands the whole time. In order not to be disturbed, Xiangxi had an idea. Let's watch in my room? There was a projector installed in her bedroom. When it was turned on, it could project the entire wall. Shui, who originally wanted to tease the little rabbit, swallowed hard. That's not very appropriate. Yeah. Xiangxi hit her forehead and said in annoyance, What if I do something to you? Shui was confused. The temperature of the air continued to rise, and there was a faint ambiguity. The man's low laughter was slightly hoarse. When it entered her ears, it caused a slight itch and tugged at her heartstrings. Sistery, I'm bold, I'm not afraid. Chapter 733. Xiangxi didn't know if she was possessed, but by the time she woke up, she found herself lying on the bed in her bedroom. But beside her, there was another person. The projector was playing a classic horror movie. Unfortunately, the two of them were mentally strong and the movie didn't achieve the desired effect at all. Xiangxi wrapped the small blanket tightly around herself. She felt uncomfortable. She slept with Xiao Naofu every day, but the feeling between a kitten and a man was really different. It felt like her territory had been occupied. And it was full of oppression. There was a distance between the two of them, but their hands were holding and their fingers were intertwined. Xiangxi gently scratched Shui's palm. That. Their eyes met, and time seemed to have stopped. The lights were extinguished, and only the light from the curtains spilled down. Frame by frame, the light moved like twinkling stars. Xiangxi licked the corner of her mouth, which was inexplicably dry. Should I meet your parents? In the girl's mind, dating was a matter between two people, but it should also be approved by both parties' families. Come to think of it, Shui had already met several of her brothers. Needless to say, he had also met her grandparents. However, she knew nothing about Shui's family. Shui was silent for a moment before whispering, My family had some changes. After that my father chose to die. My mother was traumatized and is still recuperating abroad. Xiangxi was stunned. She had heard that there was a change in the Shui family, but she didn't know it was so cruel. I'm sorry. The girl couldn't bear it. Shui continued, As for the generation before me, I'm not very close to them. I rarely go out with them except during the new year. I've never mentioned it because I think it's not worth mentioning. Secondly, I'm worried that you'll dislike Sister E. After all, our family isn't as close as yours. The relationship between the Shui family members was very indifferent, and Shui had long been used to it. Xiangxi looked into his eyes. I won't dislike you, never. Shui was speechless. The young lady was always so sincere in front of him. He raised his hand to cover his eyes and said with some difficulty, Sister E, I'm not as good as you think. Cuff. I secretly bullied Xiao Naofu. Is it right? You know? Xiangxi turned over and got closer to him. Her clear eyes were filled with gentleness. I've always known. Shui moved his hand away, a trace of astonishment on his face. His thick and long eyelashes fluttered twice. Doesn't Sister E hate it? How could this be? Xianxia smiled. I like your gentle look, I like your pitiful look, and I also like your green tea look. You're so cute, so I really like it too. Shurshui's Adam's apple moved slightly. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. I just like you the most. The young lady blushed and tried to burrow under the blanket like an ostrich. However, Shurshui held her tightly, not allowing her to retreat. His voice was hoarse. Say it again. No. His warm fingertips stroked her earlobe and gently rubbed it twice. As he wished. He saw that her little ears were completely red. Good girl, Sister E. His moist and hot breath enveloped her. Little by little, it attracted a dense electric current that exploded on her nerve endings. Coax me, Chapter 734. The movie was still going on, but no one was paying attention to the content. It had completely become background music. The distance between them was close, and the atmosphere was ambiguous. The girl's beautiful doe eyes were filled with tears. She couldn't remember how many times she had been forced to say, I like you the most. The little rabbit was so shy that she was trembling slightly, and her fingertips and toes were curled up unconsciously. Shurshui caressed her cheek and kissed her again and again, gently and lovingly. The feeling of touching each other was wonderful and touching. Shurshui. The girl was so sleepy that her eyelids were drooping, and she called out to him in a soft voice. You have me in the future. His heart felt as if it had been hit by something. It didn't hurt, but instead, it felt as if it was wrapped in soft and warm cotton candy. It was filled with sweetness. It was as if all the regrets, darkness, and bigotry had been redeemed at this moment. The gray haze dissipated, and in his eyes and heart, there was only the gentle and soft girl in front of him. She had fallen asleep. Her fingers were still unconsciously grabbing the corner of his shirt. Perhaps because she had been bullied too hard, the girl's eyes were slightly red. Shurshui gently wiped her eyes with his fingers and replied softly, Yes, I love you, and only you. It was late at night on this side of the ocean, but the sun was rising on the other side of the ocean. A Chinese director, Wuxia, yawned as he raised his head from a pile of manuscripts. He looked particularly haggard after staying up all night. It's finally done. His new movie was in the midst of filming. It was a standard Western commercial blockbuster style, but it had integrated traditional Chinese elements. The collision of Eastern and Western cultures created a strong chemical reaction. Just a few leaked photos had been released, and the mainstream media had already concluded that this would be the best-selling movie of the year internationally. However, outsiders didn't understand Wuxia's pain. How to combine business and art was a difficulty that every director would encounter. The initial filming of the movie was very smooth, and it had been gradually getting better. However, he had encountered some difficulties recently. He had integrated kung fu elements into the movie, and wanted to design a traditional Chinese swordsman with a chic and classical feel. However, the martial arts director's several versions did not meet his requirements. With limited funds, Wuxia couldn't be stuck here forever. He was now faced with a choice. Should he make do or should he persist? Sigh. He looked at the messy storyboard and drank the coffee that was left in the cup. It was already cold, and the bitterness made him frown. Forget it, let's relax for a while. Wuxia took out her phone and refreshed her social media app. She scrolled down her list of followers and liked them from time to time. When he saw an official account of the Hua Nation, his fingertips suddenly paused. Martial arts. Stopping war is martial arts. Martial arts is the art of self-cultivation. Kung fu? Wuxia's interest was piqued. She clicked on the video below. What came into view was a dojo. Wuxia's first reaction was, the decoration taste was terrible. The nondescript antique style was simply an aesthetic disaster. But soon, his attention was attracted by the young boy and girl in the video. The two of them each held a wooden sword. Not to mention anything else. Just their appearance alone was pleasing to the eye. Yen controlling Wuxia was greatly satisfied. In the next second, the two of them started fighting. Wuxia's eyes went from relaxed to shocked, and then to surprised. Before he finished watching the video, he stood up and dialed his assistant's number. Book me a ticket to Hua Nation. Immediately. Chapter 735. At the same time, the internet was still bustling with activity late at night. Netizens were surfing the internet, commenting on national affairs, teasing celebrities about their scandals, complaining about their weird leaders, and sharing their beautiful daily lives. When the netizens saw a post posted by the official daily newspaper, everyone's reaction was similar to Wuxia's as they curiously paused their fingertips. Martial arts. Stopping war is martial arts. Martial arts is the art of self-cultivation. People who practice martial arts should have a strong physique, internal and external cultivation, and have both virtue and martial arts. Xianxia v. Shu, who loves to practice swordsmanship. These two young people show the elegance of martial arts, promote traditional culture, and don't forget their original passion. Only then can they achieve great success in martial arts. Everyone clicked on the video of the battle between Xianxia and Xu Xinglan. The video had been edited and it was obvious that it was the work of a big shot. The camera switching, the color of the picture, the background music, and the rhythm of the storyboard were all top-notch. It was comparable to an official documentary. In this video, the swordsmanship of China was displayed in an artistic manner. At the end of the video, the wooden sword was broken and Xianxia immediately withdrew her sword. The screen turned black and two lines of captions appeared: frowny face since coming out of the cave. There is no need to show mercy. Virtue is the most important, courtesy is the most important, harmony is the most precious, and sincerity is the most important. A sense of shock hit them in the face. Countless people were stunned for a while before coming to their senses. They couldn't help but watch the video for the second time. Oh my God, I feel like I've regained the hot-blooded feeling of reading Wuxia novels when I was a child. Sister E is so polite. She didn't press the advantage and instead stopped when it's time to attack. This is the spirit of Chinese martial arts. This must be a fake fight, right? Can she really fight at such a level? Does China really have kung fu? This is unbelievable. After the passers-by were done lamenting, they suddenly realized, what the F***CK? Xianxia is being praised by the official media again? How many times has it been? It was rare for other artists to be praised even once. None of them were like Sister E, whom the official media couldn't wait to praise every day. It was like an elder showing off to his relatives how outstanding his child was during the new year. Because of the content and the quality of the production, this video quickly went viral and became extremely popular. In the wee hours of the morning, a blogger brought back news that the video had gone viral overseas. Many netizens praised. Putting everything else aside, Xianxia has really made China proud. Regarding this, the spicy tutu girls expressed their opinions. Just so it's normal basic operation. Our sister E is just an ordinary girl. We don't know why she's so popular. The fans of several A-list female celebrities in the country felt a growing sense of crisis. In the beginning, when Xianxia became popular, it was more like she was an internet celebrity. In fact, people in the industry didn't really recognize her status. But now, she had received the official recognition, which meant that she had a backer. The industry would also re-evaluate her commercial value. It was said that several luxury brands and national brands had already started to contact Xianxia's management team. Invitations for TV series and movie scripts had also arrived like snowflakes. The cake in the market was only so big. Originally, everyone had a piece of the cake and everything was peaceful. Now that Xianxia had appeared, it wasn't a fight for the cake. He wanted to eat the whole cake. How could he tolerate this? Of course not. Hence, a wave of organized, disciplined and premeditated attacks began. They avoided the topic of Xianxia's personality and talent and focused on one thing: frowny face. Xianxia doesn't have any representative works. Chapter 736. A few A-list female fans had joined forces to form the so-called anti-explosion team, which was not to be underestimated. Unlike the fake reviewers who only knew how to copy and paste, they were very flexible. Some pretended to be fans, some were sarcastic, and some used all kinds of methods to ridicule Shui. I've been a fan of Sister E for a long time. Our Sister Yi's masterpiece is the most popular live variety show in the country. Who can compare to her among the starlets in the same batch? As an artist, isn't the most important thing to have in your career? You can't even do your main job well, and you're doing all these fancy side jobs every day. TSK, you're just not doing your job properly. The phrase "although I smoke, drink and perm my hair, I'm a good girl" is similar to "although I don't have any movies, TV dramas or music, I'm a good artist." Everyone knows who I'm talking about. After taking turns to lead, the effect was indeed remarkable. On the internet, There was a discussion about what kind of artist is qualified to be an artist. The mainstream view was that as an artist, the most basic thing was to sing, dance, and act well. In addition, because artists were public figures, there were also requirements for morality and artistry. As the discussion went on, the crowd began to take stock of Xianxia. Her professional skills were top-notch, her attitude was professional and polite, and she had a series of representative works and was extremely popular. However, she never acted like a big shot, nor did she accept advertisements. As for requests for selfies and selfies from fans, he would do his best to satisfy them. Since her debut, she had kept herself clean and had not been involved in any scandals with other women. She actively participated in public welfare and never walked the red carpet. Every time she attended a charity banquet, she would donate the highest amount. The more the crowd looked at her, the more they felt that Xianxia was a textbook model artist. All kinds of flattering essays came one after another, leaving the anti-explosion team confused. What? Why are you praising Xianxia? Weren't we scolding Xiangxia? They finally understood how painful it was for a language teacher to see an off-topic essay. This child is unteachable. Day and night changed, and the sunlight cut through the mist and shone on the cozy manor. At 8 o'clock, Jianghu started the live stream as usual. He first filmed the scene in the courtyard. The courtyard was flourishing with flowers, separated by a fence into another area. Chickens, ducks, and geese swaggered around, chatting with each other from time to time. Jianghu muttered to himself. Usually at this time, Sister Yi should have finished practicing her swordsmanship and was cooking. Why was she nowhere to be seen today? There was also Father Shi. He had the habit of running in the morning. By right, he should be back by now. He switched to the camera in the living room and happened to catch Xiao Naofu and little Shiji sleeping together in the kitty villa. The kitten was sleeping on the creamy belly of the Shiba Inu, snoring. Little Shiji hugged it and hooked its tail around it. Immediately, a group of netizens in the live stream were jealous. Not only did I have to eat Sister Yi's dog food, I didn't expect Xiao Naofu and little Shiji to be so lovey-dovey. I'm so jealous. Even Xiao Naofu has little Shiji to sleep with. I'm already in my 20s and still single. Ah, the West Axe couple is real. Little Shiji is so domineering, he's hugging Xiao Naofu so tightly. At this moment, a girl under a microscope typed a row of exclamation marks. Damn! Am I seeing things? Look at the lower left corner, Xianxia came out of Sister Yi's room. Chapter 737. Everyone took a closer look. That tall, slender and calm figure was none other than Xianxia. Xianxia. The live stream was in an uproar. Another day of crying over someone else's love. Rounding it off, she should have a child by now, right? I bet 50 cents on twins. Why don't we call them Shimuxiang, Shimuyi? Boo-hoo, I'm not betting on the untimely CP, I'm betting on the TV series Sweet Biscuits. Jianghu, who was in the director's office, spat out a mouthful of coffee. What? What's going on? Have the two of them come to fruition? Or, did Daddy Shi take advantage of the dark night to bully Sister Yi? Daddy Shi was such a dog, the possibility of the latter was very high. Jianghu was filled with grief and indignation. Sister Yi was so gentle and cute, how could he do that to her? Daddy Shi, be a human. At this moment, Xiang Feng yawned as he came out of the room and bumped into Xianxia. Good morning, Sui. Xiang Feng's hair was messy like a chicken's nest. He casually brushed it twice, feeling very good about himself. Xianxia nodded calmly. Good morning. Are you and Lon awake yet? You have to eat breakfast, don't starve the kids. Xiang Feng chatted for a while and suddenly realized that something was wrong. His eyes widened. You. Why did you come out of my little Xiangyi's room? Xianxia looked like she hadn't slept well. She leaned against the wall lazily and said in a hoarse voice, I had no choice, Sister Yi asked me to sleep in her room. Last night, after Xiangyi fell asleep, he was about to return to his room, but as soon as he moved, his little bunny woke up. Later on, Xiang Feng's body trembled. What did you say? My little bunny actually knows how to drive a dog? When the live stream viewers heard the conversation between the two, some conservative people expressed their inability to accept it. Girls should be more self-centered. Xiangyi is such a proactive woman, I can't stand it anyway. A group of people shouting that a woman is greedy for a man's body. Hee hee, once the gender is changed, there will be tens of thousands of comments. Shui rubbed the space between her eyebrows and said, I'll go and see if you and the others are up yet. Don't even think about running. Xiang Feng's hair stood on end as he exploded from a bird's nest into a hedgehog. Where's my knife? Where's my saber? He didn't find the saber, but he did find Xu Xinglan's wife. Wooden sword. Xiang Feng wielded his sword like a matchstick, yelling that he wanted to beat up Shui. Creak. Another door was pulled open. Xiangyi rubbed her eyes and looked sleepily at the two people standing in the living room. Morning. Is there anything you want to eat? The little girl's voice was warm and soft. Probably because she was still a little sleepy, her tone didn't sound as calm as usual. Instead, it sounded a little like she was acting coquettishly. Xiang Feng was surprised. You? Why did you come out of Shui's room? The audience in the live broadcast room was also dumbfounded. These two people actually didn't stay in the same room? Xiangyi. Huh. Only then did the girl react. She knocked on her hangover head, trying to recall last night's memories. Some images surfaced in her mind. After she woke up last night, she dragged Shui to drink. She seemed to have drunk too much and insisted that Shui sleep on her bed. She seemed to have even rolled around on the ground. In the end, Shui had no choice but to sleep in her room. However, a certain black-bellied movie king tricked her into going to his room. Xiangyi. Social death was nothing more than that. Chapter 738. Everyone watched as the little girl's ears turned red, but she still clenched her fists and pretended to be calm. I went the wrong way. This was like an ancient well without any ripples, without any soul. The girl looked at Shui and said, what a coincidence, you went the wrong way too. Shui raised her eyebrows and chuckled. Whatever Sister E says. It was a vivid interpretation of what it meant to dote on one's wife. Xiang Feng's gaze moved back and forth between the two of them. His mood was first gratified, then melancholy. The cycle was endless. He was gratified that his little bunny didn't push the dog away, nor was she pushed away by the dog. He was melancholy because his good brother really couldn't do it? He was very conflicted. In consideration of everyone's different tastes, Xiangyi made a simple breakfast. Sandwiches, buns, crystal shrimp dumplings, oatmeal milk, black coffee. Vegetables and eggs were also indispensable. Yu and Xu Xinglan, one adult and one child, ate with great relish. Xiang Feng teased, Lan, aren't you going to carry your wife today? Xu Xinglan, who was stuffing a ham and cheese sandwich into his mouth, showed a hint of confusion in his beautiful eyes. All right. Where's my wife? The young man seemed to have woken up from a dream and stood up abruptly, clearly flustered. My wife is gone. Pfft. The audience watching the live stream burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha, little brother is too slow. What's so important about your wife? Eat first. Shocking. A certain young man actually abandoned his wife. Is this the distortion of human nature or the decay of morality? Stop teasing him, Xiangyi said. As soon as she said that, Xiang Feng didn't dare to be mischievous anymore. He obediently found the wooden sword hidden behind the sofa pillow and returned it to Xu Xinglan. What a joke. He wasn't afraid of Xiangyi. What he was afraid of was the people who supported Xiangyi. Kak, for example, Shui and Xiang Chen. Xu Xinglan hugged his little wife tightly as if he had found a treasure. A few seconds later, he silently let go. He said in all seriousness, my wife is affecting the speed at which I eat. After saying that, he picked up the half-eaten sandwich and took a bite. Viewers in the live stream room? Brother, do you know that your actions are called #I'm slapping my own face #? Buzz buzz. Xiangyi's phone vibrated. It was a call from her bodyguard. Miss, there's a guest. Xiangyi was a little confused. Guests? But today isn't the day for the guests. Li Jianyu also installed a fixed camera at the gate. He switched the camera position and found a tall man standing at the gate. He looked like a mixed-race man. He was worried that the bodyguard couldn't understand English, so he was gesticulating with his hands. The bodyguard was expressionless and spoke to him in fluent English. The man. Even the bodyguard's English was so good. The owner of this manor was probably hiding something. He explained the purpose of his visit. I want to invite 2 people to participate in the filming of my movie. Oh, he's a director? Before anyone could recognize him, Shui said, "It's director Wuxia." Hearing this name, there was a lot of gasps from both the audience and the live stream. Wuxia, the talented Chinese director who was renowned both at home and abroad, the director whose movies had accumulated more than 10 billion box office sales. In an instant, everyone's eyes were fixed on Shui. Presumably, for such an internationally renowned director to pay a visit, it must be to look for Shui. Shui smiled and said, "I don't think he's here for me." Chapter 739. What? If he's not here for Shui, doesn't that mean? Countless spectators' gazes fell on the girl beside him at the same time. Is he here for Sister E? How is that possible? Wuxia is an international director, and he has never worked with an Asian actress before. This is his first time working with an Asian actress. She has to be an award-winning actress, right? He said that he's here for Xianxia. Is he trying to make me laugh to death so that he can inherit my ranking in the game? I know it's impossible. A real director doesn't care about popularity, but acting skills. Does Xianxia have that? The Xianxia drama in which Xianxia and Shui acted as guest stars for director Jianghu had yet to be broadcasted. Hence, the audience's impression of Xianxia's acting skills was still limited to that of the idol drama she starred in the past year. She glared at them in anger. She glared at them in shock. She glared at them in sadness. Even when the male lead confessed to her, she glared at him too. At that time, Xianxia was so popular that she was out of the entertainment industry. There were pictures of her acting skills all over the internet. Hence, everyone naturally thought that director Wuxia would rather find Xiao Naofu and little Shiji to act in his drama than Xianxia. Out of courtesy, Shui and Xianxia went to the door to welcome director Wuxia. The production team confirmed with him that he had agreed to film before following the live stream. As soon as he saw Xianxia, director Wuxia's eyes lit up. It's her. It's her. She was petite and slender, with delicate facial features and a gentle aura. However, she was extremely strong and could defeat a burly man with one punch. What he wanted was precisely this feeling of contrast. "Hello, my name is Wuxia," director Wuxia greeted them with a smile, his accent sounding a little awkward. Shui stepped forward and greeted him. Wuxia said, "You're a very outstanding actor. I've watched all your movies." That was enough to show that he approved of Shui. "Thank you, I like the movies you starred in too." The two of them complimented each other and Wuxia couldn't help but rub his hands together. Can you introduce this lady to me?" He was so nervous that he blurted out in English. "Of course," Shui nodded and naturally switched to English to introduce him and Xianxia to each other. Xianxia also communicated with director Wuxia in English. Hearing Xianxia's fluent English, Wuxia couldn't wait to sign the contract with her on the spot. "That's great. Amazing. This must be the blessing of the goddess of luck for him to meet Xianxia. His role in the movie was practically tailor-made for her." Wuxia said sincerely, "Ms. Xiang, please forgive me for my abruptness and presumptuousness, but I really think that you're very suitable for one of my movie roles. I would like to invite you with the greatest sincerity to participate in the filming of my movie." The live stream was in an uproar. Wuxia actually really came to look for Xianxia to film a movie. A few of the A-list female fans rushed over when they heard the news. When they saw the translated content in the bullet screen, they almost vomited blood. No, what did Xianxia do to deserve this? What right did she have to act in an international blockbuster? Also, is there something wrong with director Wuxia's taste and aesthetics? Can't he just look for his sister? Why does he have to look for Xianxia? Is she good at acting? Can she act in movies? Can she act better than others? All of a sudden, there were doubts everywhere. I'm now suspecting that this director Wuxia is a fake. I think so too, it might be some new type of scam. Is Xianxia worthy of such a good deal? She's not. Isn't she afraid of choking to death? Chapter 740. Regarding this, Spicy Tutu fans' response could be described as a template. Okay, she's a liar. Yes, whatever you say is right. Wow! You guys even found out about this. You're all great, Detective Yun. Okay, fine. Our sister E isn't worthy, but your idol is. She's going to be famous all over the country and abroad. She's going to win so many Oscars. The audience in the comments section burst into laughter. What kind of silly fans are Spicy Tutu fans? They can't even get into a cat fight. They're just trying to fool the winner. You guys must be the successors of the modern school of fooling. The anti-explosion team was speechless. It felt as if they had punched cotton and couldn't exert any strength at all. You think that you've hurt the other party and they'll be so upset that they'll burst into tears. You didn't expect them to actually be enjoying themselves and not take you seriously at all. Isn't that infuriating? However, they had no idea how to vent their anger. Spicy Tutu didn't scold them or step on them. Instead, she was rather Buddhist, just a little perfunctory. In this situation, if they were to get into a fight, the passers-by would instead side with Spicy Tutu. Therefore, the explosion-proof team could only grit their teeth and swallow their grievances. They felt so wronged. In the living room of the manor, Xianxia brought Wuxia a cup of coffee. Wuxia took a sip and cast a look of admiration at Xianxia. Double espresso. It was his favorite ratio. The coffee beans were fragrant and the temperature was just right. Taking a sip was both refreshing and enjoyable. He once again mentioned that he wanted Xianxia and Xu Xinglan to act in his new movie. He also explained his understanding of Eastern culture and swordsmanship. Xu Xinglan hugged his wife and stood at the side, slowly digesting the words of director Wuxia's speech. Film a movie? To him, this was something that he had never thought of before. The young man's expression was blank as he tightened his grip on his sword. Xiangxi's reaction was also very calm as she sipped on the peach oolong that she had brewed. Wuxia was confused. The famous director, who had always rejected others and had never been rejected before, fell into a state of confusion. Was it no longer attractive to make his movies? Why were the two of them so indifferent? The audience. Is there a problem with my English listening? Is Director Mu inviting Xianxia and Xu Xinglan to make a movie? Yes, but it's not quite appropriate to use the word invite. It should be more appropriate to use beg. The lively comment section fell into a mysterious silence. Let them sort it out. It wasn't like Xianxia and Xu Xinglan were crying and begging to act in Director Mu's movie. It was Director Mu who had begged them to shoot. Most importantly, the two of them were not overwhelmed by the favor, nor were they overjoyed. How many celebrities in the entertainment industry would be envious of this? Xu Xinglan pursed her lips, unable to make up her mind. She looked at Xianxia for help. Elder sister, I'll listen to you. Yesterday when they were sparring, he was still calling her Miss Xiang, but after dinner, he changed to calling her big sister. Xianxia wasn't against acting in a movie. Director Mu, don't we need to audition? Director Mu was stunned for more than 10 seconds before he roared. What the hell? What audition? I don't need it. Are you satisfied with the pay? If you're not, I can increase it. Ms. Xiang, Mr. Xu, feel free to make any requests. It's already an honor for the two of you to appear in front of my camera. The audience was dumbfounded. Wuxia, wake up. You're an internationally renowned director. Don't you have any pride? Why are you acting like a simp? Chapter 741. However, no matter what others thought, Wuxia's thoughts were extremely firm. His pursuit of art, capture of the market, and fusion of hot elements had resulted in his high-quality films and box office hits. Xianxia and Xu Xinglan were like connecting points. As long as they were connected, they would form a perfect closed loop. You're being too polite, Xianxia said politely. Wuxia hurriedly asked, You guys agree? Xianxia nodded and said, I look forward to working with you. Xu Xinglan chimed in, Me too. Xianxia said, I hope my performance won't disappoint you. Xu Xinglan said, Me too. Xianxia said, If there are any problems during the filming process, just tell me. I don't have a glass heart. Xu Xinglan said, Me too. Wuxia said excitedly, I'll get someone to draw up the contract right away. In the comments section of the live stream, I'm going to die of laughter sooner or later. His brother is like me, who has a poor vocabulary. He can't say anything other than me too. F***CK. Doesn't that make Xianxia the first Asian actress Director Mu has ever worked with? Xianxia can brag about it for the rest of her life. The viewers watching the live stream were not the only ones who were amazed. In the blink of an eye, people in the industry also learned that Wuxia was going to work with Xianxia. It was the nature of capitalists to pursue profits. Immediately, The number of endorsements and scripts that came knocking increased several times. The luxury brands that were previously on the sidelines even took the initiative to lower their status and put on the most sincere attitude to seek cooperation. Wuxia was extremely efficient, and he soon got someone to draw up the contract. Si Chuanbai and Ah Nan rushed over, followed by the elite lawyers from Lin Chen law firm who specialized in contract law and overseas law. After carefully checking every clause of the contract, the lawyer proposed a few amendments, and Wuxia arranged for someone to work with him to amend the contract on the spot. It could be said that he had given the greatest sincerity. It was the most preferential contract. Even Xu Xinglan was basking in the limelight. The young man signed the contract in a daze, and only then did he look at the remuneration. Hey, why are there so many zeros? He rubbed his eyes and repeated it several times before he believed that he was seeing things. The young man pretended to be calm, but he couldn't help but exclaim, "I can buy many, many wives." The netizens were amused by him and started to make jokes. Human trafficking warning. Objectifying women warning. Warning for polygamy and bigamy. Unexpectedly, the joke went on and on, unexpectedly attracted the attention of the internet police. A line of bold red words appeared on everyone's screens. Received a report from the public that there are human traffickers involved in human trafficking in this stream? The staff noticed this and hurriedly told Li Jianghu. Li Jianghu was easily frightened. He shuddered and quickly entered the camera to explain. Misunderstanding, misunderstanding, it's all a misunderstanding. The child's Chunibyu syndrome is acting up. When Xu Xinglan said, wife, he wasn't referring to a human in the real world, but his sword. Xu Xinglan was so embarrassed that her face turned red. She bowed to the camera and apologized to the audience. Even so, the cyber police conducted a detailed investigation to ensure that no one was suspected of committing a crime before retreating. The audience, who had been as quiet as chickens just now, were now jumping up and down with joy. I'm dying of laughter, baby, debut on the spot. Brother, you're breaking the law. I declare you a heart-stealing criminal. Am I the only one who thinks that Shui is a has-been? She can't even get a minor role? Chapter 742. First, there was Spicy Tutu, and now there was Shui sisters making fun of themselves. The screen was filled with comments. Hashtag Shui, no good hashtag. Hashtag Shui, not popular hashtag. Hashtag Shui has been hashtag. Everyone was speechless. What kind of fans are these? Why don't you guys play by the rules? How could they make fun of their own artists like this? How much hatred and resentment do you have? Of course, the Shui sisters all agreed that they were the only ones who could make fun of them. At most, they could just barely add Spicy Tutu to the list. I don't approve of him. Epsilon humph. In fact, they didn't have to worry about Shui's career at all. Shui had already won the Best Actor award and had also won the Best Actor award. He had many representative works in movies and television series, and had a lot of outstanding roles. Even though he had retired from the film industry, he didn't have any regrets. He was dedicated and disciplined enough. Now that he was finally willing to take a break, his fans were happier than anyone else. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. After signing the contract, director Wuxia couldn't wait to talk about the script, but his phone kept ringing. What? Really? Jesus! After answering a few calls, he looked like he had nothing to live for. Xianxia poured him a glass of water and asked, Director Mu, are you okay? Wuxia wanted to cry but no tears came out. My male lead has run away. Huh? Xianxia was confused. Did he not have time to sign the contract? No, he signed it, but he would rather pay the liquidated damages. His father has retired and he has to go back to inherit the family business and become the king. Xianxia was confused. Shui usually had the habit of watching domestic and foreign movies, so he knew a lot about foreign artists. He explained to Xianxia, George Alexander, because of his passion, has devoted himself to acting for many years. His father is the king of a small country, and he is the first in line to inherit the throne. Xianxia said in realization, Oh, I see. In the live stream. How? How can this work? If he doesn't work hard, he can only go home and be the king. This is probably because his family owns a mine. Oh no, he has a family in the mine. Wuxia was worried to death. Although there weren't many scenes for the male lead yet, George was already the most compatible person with the character and temperament he could find. Where could she find a new male lead? Was the filming of the movie going to be put on hold for the time being? Wuxia sighed and scratched her hair. Her receding hairline looked even more precarious. It was a sight to behold. What should we do now? Wuxia lamented. Her eyes accidentally fell on Xianxia. The man held a cat teaser and calmly played with Xiao Naofu. He was wearing a simple white cotton shirt, casual and languid. His hair had grown a little longer recently, and he hadn't had the time to cut it, so it slightly covered his eyebrows. He was a 27-year-old man, but he had an inexplicable sense of being a young man. It was clean and fresh. Wuxia's eyes lit up. He had watched all of Xianxia's movies. Not only was she good-looking, but her acting was also impeccable. Wuxia had not considered Xianxia because of the restrictions of the foreign country. But today, by chance he came to South City. Wasn't this fate predestined by fate? Wuxia's eyes revealed the fanaticism of an artist. Mr. Shi, I wonder if you're interested in being the male lead in my movie? Xianxia. This? Wuxia interrupted her. To put it simply, he was getting carried away. I believe that we'll make the best movie ever. Our names will go down in history. The audience was in a daze. Was Xianxia talking about the male lead? Chapter 743. Although Xianxia's resources were already very good, and it wasn't as if he had never worked with an international director before, but even if he had a family in the mine, would he care about the size of the mine? No. Xianxia's sisters in particular were all extremely excited when they heard this. Xianxia had already won the Best Actor award in the country. If he could win the Best Actor award internationally... Xianxia, let's go. I'm sorry, Xianxia. I shouldn't have criticized you. You're the best. Our journey is the Sea of Stars. We're aiming for an Oscar. There were a few comments that said, is it that easy to win an Oscar? But most people had high hopes for Xianxia. In the face of absolute power, everything else was insignificant. However, Xianxia had his own considerations. Just as he was about to politely decline, he said, "Thank you for your kindness, but Wuxia said, "Are you worried about the emotional scenes? Apart from a few intimate scenes with an, played by Xianxia, the male lead doesn't interact with any other female characters. If you don't mind, I can edit it." Xianxia said with a straight face, "I think I can act in it." Everyone was dumbfounded. Xianxia, your answer is so coquettish. Wuxia looked back and forth between him and Xianxia. She suddenly chuckled and said, "Shall I add more intimate scenes for you too?" Little Uncle Xiangfeng coughed and said with the dignity of an elder, "There's no need for that. Everyone wants to see the plot. Who wants to see the two of them hugging and kissing on the big screen? It's like children playing house." Wuxia said seriously, "This is not child's play. It's for the sake of art." The viewers of the live stream were appalled. Ha, well done. Mr. Xiang. We can watch their intimate scenes even if they shoot for 10 hours. I feel that Director Mu is naturally sly on the inside. She has accurately grasped Xianxia's weakness. After some discussion, one more person signed the contract. The official filming date was set to be 2 weeks later, which was the end of the live stream of Two Under One Roof. The details of the contract could not be exposed, but the filming date was not concealed. The audience suddenly realized that a small puzzle was about to be completed. Was the live broadcast variety show that had accompanied everyone for the entire summer going to end just like that? Sadness shrouded the comment section. I don't want this to end at all. How did time pass so quickly? I can't bear to part with Xianxia and Sister E. There will be a second season, right? Please return to the original team. Sob, 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 please. Fortunately, the production team had already made preparations. Li Jianghu put away his usual joking style and said seriously, "Every time we meet, there will be times of separation. Every time we separate, it's also for the sake of a better next time. I hope that everyone won't be immersed in the emotions of, the show is about to end. Instead, enjoy Two Under One Roof and the happiness that Sister E and Xianxia bring to everyone. Feel and cherish the meaning of life. This is also the original intention of our variety show." Many people in front of their screens felt a lump in their throat when they heard this. It was as if they were chasing a book or a drama series, looking forward to the end, but when the day came, they would feel lost. However, that emotion did not last long. Everyone heard the conversation between Mu Si and Xianxia. Then I'll go back and film the other scenes first. Since you're already here, why don't you stay for a meal, Director Mu? Chapter 744. If one had to choose the words with the most magical power in the world, it would definitely be, since you're already here. These words could make people eat more, walk more, climb more, and shop more. It could literally cover all their basic necessities. Especially when they were hiking, even though they didn't have the strength to continue, when they heard the words, since you're already here, at least half of them would follow along. Director Mu Si declined. No, I'm quite busy. Besides, I grew up abroad and I'm not used to Chinese food. He was being very reserved. In fact, it wasn't that he wasn't used to Chinese food, but that he hated it. Mu Si's mother was a Cathayan, and she had excellent, dark cuisine skills. Mu Si often joked that it was a miracle that he was still alive. The domineering CEO Xiang Feng waved his hand. That's easy, I'll get you a chef. Mu Si hesitated for a moment before agreeing. However, he couldn't help but ask, Zheng, what do you mean? Soon, the chef from the five-star hotel that Xiang Feng had hired arrived at the manor. He even brought along a bunch of assistants. It was rare for Xianxia to have some free time, so she made a simple soup and marinated some meat slices. Then, she took Director Mu around for a walk. Even though Mu Si had been to many aristocratic parks and was lucky enough to be invited by the Queen of Country E as a guest, he boasted that he had seen the world. However, when he saw the cozy courtyard that Xianxia took care of and the farm that was a combination of garden style and technology style, he couldn't stop praising it. Oh, this glass greenhouse is amazing. The light and shadow are perfect for making a literary film. Oh my God, these little animals are so cute. What? They're not pets, but food? They're so cute, they must be delicious. This pond is very artistic. Oh my God, I'm suddenly inspired. Miss Yang, can I take photos here? Xianxia said gently, sure, feel free to do as you please. Mu Si was overjoyed. He carefully selected the best angles and took several photos. After walking around, it was almost time for dinner. Everyone returned to the living room. The five-star chef was extremely efficient and had already prepared the cold dishes and appetizers. When Xianxia and the others returned, the dishes were served. What was worth mentioning was that someone had specially set up the dining table. The white tablecloth was matched with exquisite sound quality tableware. There were a few freesia in the vase, which was decorated with sparkling water droplets. The chef invited by Xiang Feng was a master of French cuisine. Every dish he made was like a work of art. However, Xiang Feng wasn't happy eating at all. This amount was too little. The eater had lost his soul. Even though Xu Xinglan and Shi Yu had deliberately changed a few dishes in consideration of the children's tastes, the two little ones still ate very little. The reason was very simple. He was not used to it. They still wanted to eat Xiangxi's cooking more. Fortunately, Xianxia had already considered this point. She took out a small copper pot and placed it into Little Rabbit Farm's newest product, hot pot base. There was beef oil on one side and tomato soup on the other. The ingredients were ready-made. Someone in the kitchen had already prepared them and sent them over. Although the head chef did not say anything, Mu Si felt that it was somewhat inappropriate. Well, if I eat this, wouldn't it be a little disrespectful to the chef's hard work? After all, French cuisine had strict dining etiquette. Even the order of each dish was particular. These words attracted the approval of many people in the live stream. Yeah, isn't that too rude? Chapter 745. I'm dying of laughter. What kind of country bumpkin is Xianxia? Come on, how can you eat Western food with hot pot? Don't you know how to eat? The hot pot must be very strong. Will it affect the taste of French food? Xianxia is being too irresponsible. Xiang Feng led the two kids to the floor-to-ceiling window furthest away from the dining table and added charcoal to the small copper pot. Coincidentally, the head chef personally came out to deliver the main dish, which was a fried steak. His assistants helped him serve the dishes in turn. However, the head chef did not go back immediately. Instead, he chatted with Xianxia. Xiaoyi, long time no see. I've tried the fusion dishes you told me about last time and I've really come up with a few new dishes. The customers are very satisfied. Xianxia smiled and said, "That's great." So Xianxia and this head chef knew each other? There's one more thing. When we're done eating, can you? The head chef said embarrassedly, "Sell me 2 packets of spicy rabbit heads produced by Little Rabbit Farm? My daughter loves to eat it, but she can't get her hands on it." The live stream viewers. Pfft. Are you serious? Look at the logo on his clothes. He's the head chef of a 5-star hotel in Nanqing. Little Rabbit Farm is really popular. Sob sob sob. When will they dare to open a limited time limit? I'm begging Sister E to increase production. Don't you want to be a rich woman in the snack world? I've prepared it for you. Xianxia got up and took out a basket from the side. In addition to spicy rabbit heads, spiced beef, noodles, and a few packets of hot pot seasoning. The head chef was overjoyed and thanked her profusely. At this moment, the small copper pot was also boiling. Xiangfeng was the first to pick up his chopsticks and began to rinse the cured meat that Xianxia had prepared earlier. The beef and mutton were cut into slightly thick slices and marinated with starch, chili powder, egg, and other ingredients. They were then placed into the spicy pot and boiled. That smell faintly floated to the tip of Wuxia's nose, as if it was seducing his soul, causing his heart to itch. The head chef smelled the aroma and gave Xianxia a thumbs up. "Xiaoyi, your cooking skills are amazing. In terms of seasoning, you're really a genius among geniuses." He had specially researched Little Rabbit Farm's products and wanted to make them for his daughter. But no matter what, the seasoning was still lacking. "You flatter me. If I'm not a chef, I'm afraid I'll have to be thick-skinned and follow them to eat hot pot." The head chef sighed and walked back to the kitchen. Wuxia didn't really understand their conversation, but she could feel that the head chef was praising Xianxia. Could it be that her hot pot tasted pretty good? As for Xiangfeng, he was already panting and sweating. He took out his phone and habitually clicked into the live broadcast room. Seeing that someone was complaining, Xiangfeng was immediately amused. He put down his chopsticks and started a battle on the spot. Eating in a restaurant requires etiquette. But who made the rule that we have to follow that rule when eating at home? We can eat whatever we want. It's none of your business. Not only did he attack physically with words, but he also began to use his actions to attack with magic. Xiangfeng picked up a piece of cured meat and used his hand to block it from behind so that the camera could focus on it. "Do you see? This meat is soft, smooth, and delicious. It's tender and bouncy. When you eat it, it's numb, spicy, and fragrant." He stuffed it into his mouth and smiled mischievously. "Do you want to eat it? You can't eat it, ha ha ha." The audience was speechless. Thank you for being hurt. Chapter 746. On the other side, at the dining table, Wuxia was relieved when he saw the head chef's reaction. Since he didn't mind, why should he mind? He tasted the fried steak and found that it tasted very good. It was not inferior to the Michelin restaurants he had eaten overseas. However, he felt that something was missing. Lon Lon, eat less. It's not good for children to eat too much. Although Xiangfeng spoke in a dignified manner, his hands did not stop moving. He scooped 3/4 of the meat into his bowl. "Sure you, Shu Xinglan," Xiangfeng boasted shamelessly and had no psychological burden when it came to tricking children. "Have you heard of Kong Rong giving away pears? That's our traditional virtue. Come, I'll give the 2 of you a chance. Lon Lon, give up the hot pot." Shu Xinglan was thin-skinned and didn't know what to say. He obediently hummed and didn't even dare to take more food. However, Shuryu had inherited the Shur family's black-bellied nature. The little boy raised his hand and shouted in a childish voice, "Sister Xianxia." Xianxia cast a glance at him. "What's wrong?" "Xiangfeng." He quickly covered Shuryu's mouth and laughed dryly. Nothing. He's thirsty. I'll pour him a glass of juice. It's not good for children to drink juice. There's too much free sugar. Let's give him milk." After settling Xianxia, Xiangfeng heaved a long sigh of relief. He lowered his voice and gritted his teeth. "Why are you still complaining?" "Shuryu, Grandpa, give me some food." Xiangfeng. He couldn't believe his ears. "What did you say?" "Sister Xianxia." Xiangfeng immediately changed his words. "I'll give you some food. F***CK. The dogs of the Shi family were indeed engraved in their genes. Xiang Feng and the other two ate until their stomachs were round. They collapsed on the sofa and watched cartoons together. The three of them were of different ages, but all of them were watching with relish. It could be considered as a confirmation of the saying that men were still young until they died. The French meal was long. Towards the end of the meal, Wuxia was already a little distracted. He couldn't explain why he wasn't interested in the table full of delicacies at all. Instead, he felt that the leftover hot pot next door was very fragrant. When the last dessert was served, an exquisite three-tiered cake, the size of a palm, decorated with cream, strawberries and blueberries. Whether it was the color or the shape, it was perfect. Xianxia liked this cake, but she only wanted to eat strawberries, not blueberries. But if she didn't eat it, it would be a waste. While the young lady was worrying, she saw Xianxia casually chatting with Wuxia while switching their strawberries and blueberries. Hence, Xiangxia's cake turned into a cake with only strawberries and no blueberries. The little girl's eyes curved into the shape of a crescent moon as she happily gobbled down the food. There was a smile in Xianxia's eyes. To Wuxia, the cake was delicious, but compared to the hot pot, it was simply bland and tasteless. He clenched his cutlery and finally couldn't hold it in any longer. He stood up with a whoosh. "Miss Xiang, please let me try your hot pot." Xiangxia was startled by him. "Ha! What flavor do you like? I'll change the pot for you." "No need. I'll just eat that pot." Wuxia pointed to the small copper pot left behind by Xiang Feng and the other two. "I'm too curious about what it tastes like." One bite, one bite. 2 minutes later, the pot boiled and Wuxia took the first bite. 20 minutes later, Wuxia was gritting his teeth from the spiciness, but he still shouted, "Give me another plate of meat." Chapter 747. Director Wuxia, who had prepared 6 plates of meat, finally left with a hand on her waist. Before leaving, she couldn't bear to part with Xiangxia. She also changed the way she addressed Xiangxia from Madame Xiang to Xiangxia, which she didn't sound very fluent with. "Sister Yi, your family is so nice. I love it here so much. Oh, I love China so much. I love Chinese food so much. Although my body is abroad, my heart will always belong to China." Xiangxia was very polite. Not only did she give a lot of gifts, she also chuckled and said, "You're welcome to visit us whenever you're on vacation." Wuxia's eyes widened when she saw the hot pot base. She was even more excited than when her last movie grossed over 2 billion yuan at the box office. "Is this the magic seasoning? Sister Yi, you're really a super nice person." In the live stream, the audience had long become accustomed to Wuxia's reaction. "Director Mu, I'm wearing a Western dress, but my heart is still Chinese, doghead." Sure enough, as long as you take a bite of Sister Yi's food, you can't escape the law of taste. "When will the hot pot base be served? I'm going to ask all my friends and family to help me snatch it." After bidding farewell to Director Mu, Xiangxia and Xu Xinglan had another round of sword fighting before the young man left in satisfaction. As soon as he left, Xiangxia received a notification from Jianghu. "The guest has arrived early." Ha! Unfortunately, the car broke down on the road. Xianxia asked, "Shall we go and pick her up?" Xiangxia said, "Sure, I'll drive." In the live stream, "I'm waiting for an idiot to appear." Can a female driver do it? Don't get into an accident. Are you crazy? Do you have to use the word female? Go check the ratio of men to women in traffic accidents. The comments section was filled with a foul atmosphere, but when the camera cut to the garage, the atmosphere instantly changed. There were sports cars, off-road vehicles, and motorcycles, many of which were limited edition models. It was a paradise for car lovers. Jianghu was surprised and asked what the audience was thinking. "Sister Yi, are these your cars?" "It's my brother's car." Xiangxia didn't understand why everyone liked to leave their cars with her. She didn't know that it was a childish competition between the men in front of their younger sister. "And my uncle's car." Everyone understood. Taking a closer look, one could basically guess whose car it was based on the style and color. For example, it was a black and sedate car. It should be Songchen's car. For example, the red and flashy style should be third brother Xiangqi's style. As for the hover cars, children's strollers, and cartoon bumper cars in the corner, who else could they be but the overbearing president of the Xiang family, Feng Feng? Of course, Xiangxia also had a few cars of her own. Most of them were given to her by her family. In order to make it easier for her to pick him up, she chose her eldest brother's business car. It was just that it took a while to find the key. Everyone. Oh, the damned envy-inducing annoyance! The girl skillfully reversed the car like flowing water, using her abilities to break the prejudice. She jumped out of the car and opened the door of the passenger seat for Shui. She said seriously, "Boyfriend first." Shui chuckled. "Thank you, girlfriend. Everyone. Isn't it just dog food? I don't care. I don't care at all. Our hearts are already numb." The staff also drove a car and followed behind. Li Jianyu urged, "Sister E, try to hurry up. Don't let the guests wait too long." Xiangxia tilted her head. "Hurry up? Okay, got it." Chapter 748. Hearing Xiangxi's answer, Li Jianyu suddenly had a bad feeling. He vaguely heard the girl say to Shui, who was in the front passenger seat, "Fasten your seatbelt." Shui said, "Okay, Sister E." Not only did he fasten his seatbelt, he even calmly grabbed the armrest. He was very cooperative. Li Jianyu was confused. "What? You want to race? Sister E is a cute girl who drives bumper cars. That's impossible. What the F***CK?" Before anyone could react, the MPV had already sped over like an arrow leaving the bow. Li Jianyu hurriedly yelled, "Keep up, keep up." The driver stepped on the accelerator and said confidently, "Don't worry, I've been driving for many years. I'm more than capable of catching up to a young girl. One word, you're in." Li Jianyu said, "Two words." In the next second, the car suddenly sped up. He dragged out the last syllable of the word, "ah," which turned into a continuous scream of agony. After driving for a distance, the driver's expression changed. "Well, this young girl has some skills. Very good. This has successfully aroused my desire to win." He drove even faster. Xiangxia, who was in the front seat, saw how fast he was driving and muttered softly, "Uncle Wang, are you complaining that I'm driving too slowly?" Hence, the girl also sped up. The two cars sped along the road as if they were in a race. The viewers of the live stream also witnessed Xiangxi's driving skills and were all shocked. F***CK. Is there anything Sister E can't do? Oh my god, drifting around a corner? Isn't this a skill that only exists in movies? Sister E, do you have some misunderstanding about faster? You're not just a little faster. You're flying. The originally planned 20-minute journey only took Xiangxia 7 minutes to reach her destination. After a while, the staff's car finally caught up. When Li Jianyu got out of the car, his face was pale and he was about to vomit. The conversation between the girl and the guest drifted into his ears along with the wind. "Sorry, we came too late. We haven't driven in a long time, so we're a little rusty." Li Jianyu? "I'm sorry, I take back what I said before. Sister E wasn't racing at all. She was practically racing online. The title of Tutu Mountain Bike God was hers." Everyone's attention was on this episode's guest. There were a total of 2 guests. The one who was smiling and talking to Xiangxia was the singer Zhou Yan. He debuted at a young age, and his first album became popular all over the country. Since then, he had been crowned as a god in the music industry. The other man who was not good with words was the well-known composer Su Rendong. He was wearing a gray woolen sweater and a pair of black-rimmed glasses. His skin was abnormally white, like an otaku who stayed at home for a long time. "Sister E, how are you? I'm your fan." Zhou Yan was 29 years old this year, but he still looked like a teenager. His voice was clear and pleasant. Just listening to him speak was a kind of enjoyment. Su Rendong had interacted with Shui before, so he nodded stiffly as a form of greeting. The staff stayed behind to handle the towing matters, while Zhou Yan and Su Rendong got into Xiangxi's car. Li Jianyu's heart tightened, and he whispered to Wan Qing, "I heard that they don't get along. Now that they're in the same car, will they get into a fight?" Wan Qing smiled. "Do you think they'll get into a fight with Sister E around?" Li Jianyu. He was thinking too much. Sister E would probably beat them both to tears. Can't you tell that there's a story between the two of them? Chapter 749. What the hell? Didn't we just see each other? Honey, how could you tell there's a story? Li Jianyu's face was blank. Yuan Qing raised her eyebrows. What did you call me? Daddy. You're my daddy. A certain director had never had any dignity in front of his wife. Yuan Qing looked at the SUV in front of her that was almost out of sight. As if she had seen through something, her red lips curled up slightly. A woman's intuition. At the manor. When he got out of the car, Zhou Yan's smile was obviously a little hard to maintain, and his legs were wobbly. Sister Yi had asked him to drive faster. He wondered how fast he could drive, so he readily agreed. Now his inner thoughts were, I'm so stupid really. Walking on a cobblestone path, he almost fell, but a pair of strong hands supported him from the side. Zhou Yan, thank. Before he could finish the word thank you, he swallowed back the rest of his words. The person supporting him was Su Nundong. Before Zhou Yan could say anything, Su Nundong quickly retracted his hand after confirming that he was steady on his feet and distanced himself from him. Then, he took out the hand sanitizer from his sling bag and carefully rubbed his hands. He then took out an alcohol wipe and carefully wiped each finger clean. Zhou Yan couldn't help but ask, do I have that many germs on me? This rhetorical question reminded Su Nundong of something. He then took out a bottle of disinfectant spray and sprayed it wildly. Zhou Yan, Xianxia and Shui noticed their movements and looked over. Sorry, I have a bit of obsessive-compulsive disorder and mysophobia. Su Nundong finally spoke, his voice inexplicably magnetic. Oh, I see. Xianxia recalled his expression in the car just now. So there was a reason. Zhou Yan whispered, you still have so many bad habits. The comments in the live stream were suddenly not so friendly. Zhou Yan is the one who's sick. Does he know how to respect others? Xianxia is really something. Didn't she do her homework in advance? You can imagine how uneasy Su Rendong is in the car. Please, it was clearly Su Rendong who came to help our Yan Bao first. After helping him, he complained that our Yan Bao was dirty. What's wrong with our Yan Bao complaining? Regarding this, the loyal fans of Two Under One Roof were very calm. Blocking keywords, reporting personal attacks, and sending out short essays. With this one-stop service, the world became peaceful. Meanwhile, the host and the guest entered the living room together. Xianxia deliberately took out a pair of disposable slippers for Su Rendong. Su Rendong gave her a grateful look, but she still sprayed herself with alcohol spray before putting them on. Zhou Yan had the temperament of a teenager. He let Xianxia take him out for a stroll. Su Honeysuckle was very reluctant to go out. She sat down by the French window. Of course, she wiped the chair with a wet towel. Shui brought some tea over. Su Rendong was tense. Can you please not talk to me? Shui smiled and nodded. She got up and went to the bookshelf to pick out a book. Su Rendong heaved a sigh of relief. On the other side, Xianxia and Zhou Yan got along with each other in opposite ways. Zhou Yan was a sociable person. Soon, he was chatting and laughing with Xianxia. Xianxia, watch me float 6 times in a row. Zhou Yan picked up a small flat stone and threw it out. The stone kept jumping on the surface of the water, creating layers of ripples. He put his hands on his waist and said, Impressive, right? Do you want to learn? Call me Big Brother and I'll teach you. Xianxia pondered for a while. Shall I try it first? Chapter 750. Let's try it then. Zhou Yan grinned. You'll know how difficult it is after you try it. I practiced for a long time before I could do 6 consecutive floats. The girl lowered her head and casually picked up a stone. Zhou Yan immediately said, No, you didn't pick a good stone. You have to choose a flat or disc-shaped one. It's okay, I'm just practicing. Sister E, you have to be careful with everything. Zhou Yan had a strong sense of variety. He pulled the stone from Xianxia's hand and led her to choose carefully. He even commented on the stones one by one. If it's too big, it won't do. If it's too fat, it won't do either. If it's too ugly, it won't do either. The effect of the variety show was immediately apparent. Yan Baoyan is a dog. 3-year-old Yan is so cute when he takes Sister E to look for stones. I'm laughing so hard. Sister E is so difficult. She feels like she's taking care of her children every day. Yu baby, Lon baby, and now there's a giant baby, Yan Bao. Finally, Zhou Yan chose a suitable stone. He even pretended to be serious and gave a scientific explanation. Sister E, do you know why stones bounce when you're playing water? It's actually very simple. The greater the flow rate, the smaller the pressure. Stones are denser than water. When you're playing water, the water will flow quickly in a short period of time, so the water surface will exert pressure on the stone. When the pressure is greater than the gravity of the stone will bounce up. The more this situation is repeated, the more the stone will bounce on the water surface. Xianxia agreed. Yes, the principle of fluid dynamics. Zhou Yan gave her a thumbs up. Smart. The audience in the live stream was dumbfounded. Isn't it just playing water? Why is it so advanced? Xianxia weighed the stone in her hand. She had to admit that Zhou Yan had chosen a good one. It felt great to the touch. The girl pinched the stone with her thumb and index finger behind. Seeing her gesture, Zhou Yan exclaimed, "Hey, you're an expert." Xianxia smiled calmly and slowly bent down. Her posture was elegant and casual. She didn't seem to use much strength. She moved the stone with her index finger, but the stone was thrown out by her with great force. It spun and was thrown out by her. Bang! Bang! After a dozen or so sounds, the rock finally sank into the water with a plop. Zhou Yan? ? The audience? ? Was it an illusion? It must be. However, Xianxia made a sound as if she was not satisfied with the result. She took out a spare stone and threw it again. The familiar banging sound dominated everyone once more. This time, it rang a total of 23 times. Zhou Yan was dumbfounded. Recalling what he had just said, "Call me big brother and I'll teach you," he awkwardly dug his toes into the soles of his shoes. He wished he could jump into the pond right then and there. This doesn't make any sense. The girl opened her cherry lips and said in a soft voice, "There was once a professor who, through the weight and speed of a stone, as well as the influence of air and other conditions, summed up a famous equation, the floating in water equation." Zhou Yan was confused. Huh. The audience was in a daze. Sister E is bluffing, right? Am I right? Xianxia continued, "This equation is mxa equals p, mg plus air effect. M represents mass, A represents vertical acceleration, P represents the feedback pressure of the water surface, and mg represents gravity. Through this equation, it played an important role in the study of the problem of aircraft freezing. It has also been applied in the field of criminal investigation to calculate blood splatter." Zhou Yan. The audience. Sorry to disturb. I'm really disturbing. Is this science? Sorry, I'm not worthy of playing water. Chapter 751. Zhou Yan was speechless. This is what it means to be pretentious and get struck by lightning. This is it. Zhou Yan, who had been calling her big brother just a moment ago, immediately changed his tone. "Brother E, please accept my bow." Zhou Yan had a strong sense of variety. He immediately cupped his hands towards Xianxia and exclaimed, "From today onwards, you're my big brother." Xianxia said, "You don't have to be so polite." No, Brother E, please teach me how to hit the water." Men know when to yield and when not. Xianxia said, "Actually, there's a little trick. When you throw the stone, try to keep your arm and body at 45 degrees, and the stone at 20 degrees from the horizontal." In the live stream. Why am I taking notes seriously when I'm relaxing while watching a variety show? Damn it, I went to Google and found out that Xianxia's equation for hitting the water is actually true. The world record for hitting the water is 88 jumps? What kind of godly person is this? There's actually a competition for hitting the water. If you can hit the water more than 20 times, you're almost at the level of a professional player. Doesn't that mean that Sister E is a big shot at hitting the water? Everyone was speechless. Sister E is so terrifying. Zhou Yan was completely convinced by Xianxia. On the way back, he kept calling her Brother E, and wished that he could become sworn brothers with her on the spot. The two picked some seasonal fruits and returned. Zhou Yan volunteered to wash them and soon brought them out. Seeing Su Rendong, who was so weak that he looked like he could be blown away by a gust of wind, he couldn't help but walk toward Su Rendong even though his rationality told him to stay away from him. "Here, these are freshly washed fruits. Try them." Considering Su Rendong's obsession with cleanliness, he added, "I washed them twice." Su Rendong's eyes were full of shock. "Only twice? That doubt came from the bottom of his heart. The corners of Zhou Yan's mouth twitched. What else? Su Rendong opened his mouth, wanting to say something but hesitated. He picked up a peach and gently rubbed it with his fingertips. In the end, he couldn't bring himself to eat it. He asked hesitantly, "Did you use fruit and vegetable detergent? Or did they use baking soda instead of starch? Did you soak it in salt water again?" Zhou Yan. He stared at Su Rendong expressionlessly for a few seconds, then snatched the peach back and took a bite. The peach was juicy and sweet. He squinted his eyes in enjoyment and said vaguely, "Don't make things difficult for yourself. I'll eat it for you." Su Rendong looked even more shocked. "You didn't wash the things I touched before eating them?" Zhou Yan. Zhou Yan shut himself off. In the eyes of outsiders, the interaction between the two of them clearly confirmed the rumors of discord. Xianxia washed the fruit again and took out a pair of disposable gloves. Su Rendong reluctantly ate some of the fruit with the gloves on. However, the taste of the peaches did amaze him. A certain germaphobe silently took a few more bites. Zhou Yan was a natural little son. He was not depressed for long and returned to normal. "Best actor. I heard that you're going to be the male lead in director Mu Si's movie. What a coincidence. He asked me to sing the promotional song for the movie in China. The composer is Su Rendong." Shi Sui said politely, "Oh, that must be fate." Li Jianyu crossed his legs behind the camera and teased, "This is a one-stop service. From the actors to the promotion, everything is done." At this moment, a staff member hurriedly handed him his phone. On the screen, there was a trending topic. Hashtag Su Rendong plagiarized. Hashtag. Chapter 752. Li Jianyu was confused. What the hell is this trending topic? After browsing through it, Li Jianyu's temples began to throb violently. There weren't many likes and comments on this trending topic, but it was ranked very high. At first glance, it was obvious that someone had paid for it. The accusation was directed at Su Xindong, accusing him of plagiarism. The plagiarist was his younger brother, Su Xini. Su Xini's name entered the eyes of netizens for the first time. Someone dug up his information. He was a graduate of a top music school and was a standard academic. In contrast, Su Xindong was just an ordinary music major from a second-tier normal school. In the first half of their lives, one was an elite while the other was a commoner. To put it bluntly, he was a good-for-nothing. There weren't many comments, but they were all on Su Xini's side. To be honest, it's ridiculous that Su Xindong, who graduated from a second-tier school, could create so many classic songs. Su Xini studied at the top 3 music schools in the world. He can't get in without some skills. It's enough to prove his excellence. Does Su Xindong really not know how to blush? He even plagiarized his own brother's work. Oh my, I just learned something new. They aren't biological brothers. Su Xindong's mother is suspected to be a homewrecker who took over his position. The Su family was considered a small wealthy family, and when it came to the love and hatred between wealthy families, it had always been the most eye-catching. The news of Su Xindong's plagiarism spread like wildfire. The fake trending topic brought in real traffic. After reading it, many people went straight to the live stream of Two Under One Roof to question Su Xindong. The bullet screen comments flooded the screen, but Su Xindong was still oblivious to it. He quietly wore his headphones and tapped a few beats from time to time. The thing that pushed the matter to the climax was Su Xini's updated Weibo. Su Xini. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up public resources. Thank you to all my friends who care about me. I'm in a mess now. I've been tolerating it all these years. I thought I could endure it for the rest of my life. After all, we're a family, but forget it, let's not talk about it. I hope it didn't affect everyone's mood. I wish you all the best. He put his palms together. His decent speech attracted countless likes. Commenters. Look. This was what it meant to be the successor of a wealthy family, showing off his elegance. When they saw Su Honeymoon's social phobia and otaku appearance on the screen, all kinds of trolls came online. My heart aches for Su Xini. I feel like this little brother is a very gentle person. Dragons give birth to dragons and phoenixes give birth to phoenixes. Sure enough, the child of a mistress likes to snatch other people's things. Are you planning to keep such a notorious artist around for the new year? Hurry up and ask him to leave. I don't want to see him for even a second. Everyone was agitated, and Li Jianyu was also a little anxious, not knowing how to deal with it. Yet, Zhou Yan and Xianxia were still talking about the topic of composition. Zhou Yan said, Actually, I've written songs before, but my agent said that each note of Su Rendong's songs is worth thousands of dollars. No one would want my songs even if I offered them money. Xianxia chuckled. Are you exaggerating? You don't believe me? I'll hum it for you. Zhou Yan cleared his throat and hummed a melody. His voice was clear and melodious, skillful and full of emotions, but it didn't make the melody any less unpleasant. Xiangyi's expression went from being calm to frowning. The viewers in the live stream teased. Sister E, are you wearing a mask of pain? Ha 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 ha. Chapter 753. The song came to an end. Zhou Yan felt good about himself and asked everyone expectantly, how was it? Don't you think I have some talent in composing? I'll drink some water to calm down first. Xiangxia sipped some water for a while. Other people need money to compose, but yours. Is it life-threatening? Shui said, I heard that you wanted to debut as a singer-songwriter back then? Congratulations. You didn't go astray. It's not that bad. Zhou Yan looked at Su Nindong, the only one in the living room who hadn't spoken. Come on, great composer. You judge for me. Su Nindong hesitated for 2 seconds before saying softly, It's all right. Everyone was speechless. Does Su Nindong have no sense of hearing or aesthetics? You're just going to lick it if it's toxic, right? I'm now very suspicious of Su Nindong's professional standards. Plagiarism is a fact. He must have plagiarized Su Xinyi's song. Poor Su Xinyi, not only did he lose his father, but he also lost his own painstaking efforts. Zhou Yan, on the other hand, was like a kindergartner who had been praised by a little red flower. Su Nindong, I knew you knew me. He proudly raised his chin at Xiangxia and Shui, as if he was showing off. Su Nindong adjusted his black-rimmed glasses and looked at the grand piano in the living room. Can I borrow the piano? Xiangxia said, Sure, do you want me to disinfect it first? No need. Su Nindong lowered his head shyly. I'll do it myself. Xiangxia immediately understood. The man carefully cleaned the piano. Even the pedals and the strings were not spared. He stretched out his hands, his fingers long and slender, like a work of art carefully carved by God. He casually and lazily played a melody, which was exactly the same as the one Zhou Yan was humming just now. Zhou Yan's face changed drastically and the corners of his mouth twitched incessantly with a pained expression. My song, is it that bad? Shui and Xiangxia didn't cover their ears, which was already the greatest respect they could give him. Su Nindong, who was sitting in front of the piano, seemed to have become a different person, confident and dazzling. When doing what he was good at, he could overcome his social phobia to a certain extent. There is still hope, he said. Su Rendong pondered for more than 10 seconds before playing one note after another. Generally speaking, it was the same melody as before. But miraculously, the song had unexpectedly become pleasant to listen to. Only a few minor changes were made, as well as the addition of a few chords. Yet, it was as though At, the muse in charge of music, had kissed his fingertips, granting him an unbelievable miracle. Zhou Yan listened attentively and deliberately turned his body so that his right ear could be closer to the sound of the piano. Xiangxia was also interested. She took out a guitar and plucked the strings with her soft white fingertips. Based on Su Nindong's modifications, she made another version. Isn't this better? Su Rendong. His eyes shone brightly. That was the look of someone who had found a confidant. Very good. Very good. Under Xiangxi's stimulation, his inspiration began to explode. If it's the chords, I can make some adjustments, like this. Try speeding it up by half a beat? I think this song is suitable for a relaxed and lively style. The two of them looked at each other and said one after another. You had a piano version, and I had a guitar version. Within half an hour, they had changed Zhou Yan's original version, which was wailing like a ghost and howling like a wolf and saw like a saw, into an incomparably pleasant version. Zhou Yan, the sky has cleared up, the rain has stopped, I feel like I can do it again. Chapter 754. He muttered to himself, I, Zhou Yan, am a genius composer. Shui. The audience. Kiss, do you have some misunderstanding about yourself? Ha ha ha, Yan Bao, the current version is not exactly the same as yours, but at least it's completely unrelated. What's a million tuners? Sister E and Su Rendong are simply millions of tuners. After Xianxia and Su Rendong finished editing the song, Zhou Yan recorded the entire process with his cell phone and said happily, I want to use this as my ringtone. Brother E, you're amazing. Xianxia smiled and didn't steal the credit. Su Rendong is amazing. I modified the song based on his and he modified it based on yours. Zhou Yan was speechless. It was a little heart-wrenching. Su Rendong, who had always been socially phobic, pursed his lips and carefully said, Zhou Yan, can you send me a copy? Although he knew that the staff would have a recording, after thinking about it, he felt that Zhou Yan was the only one he could ask. Zhou Yan said casually, no problem. However, when he was about to send it, he realized that he had already blacklisted Su Rendong. Pretending as if nothing had happened, Zhou Yan released him from the blacklist and sent the audio over. Su Rendong's fingertips paused on his profile picture for a moment before saving the audio. After editing it briefly on his cell phone, he asked for Zhou Yan's permission. Can I post it on Weibo? It's a small matter, up to you, Zhou Yan said with a smile. Soon after, Su Rendong's fans received a push notification. Su Rendong V. It was a period and an audio clip. The name of the audio clip was Composer, Zhou Yan, Xianxia, Su Rendong. The fans had long been used to his way of posting on Weibo, and they all clicked to forward it. Su Rendong had turned off the comment function, so the fans could only express their feelings in this way. Ah, you're finally here. I'm clocking in. Su Rendong is always a god. Damn, this is so good. I'm in a good mood after listening to it. I've added the single on loop. Meanwhile, Su Xini, Su Xindong's younger brother, saw the post. He was overseas, so he didn't watch the live broadcast, nor did he care to watch it. Anyway, in his opinion, the higher Su Rendong climbed, the better it would be for him to step on him. As for Zhou Yan and Xianxia, he was not familiar with them and thought that they were just friends of Su Rendong. The corners of Su Xini's mouth curled up. He thought that he had thought of a good plan. With the experience of working together, Su Rendong was able to relax a little. Gradually, he was able to chat with Xianxia. Xianxia found that his knowledge of music theory was quite rich. Whether it was classical music or pop music, his basic skills were very solid. He also had his own unique views on traditional folk music and opera. I think combining rap and opera will be a new trend. Music was Su Rendong's passion, and his eyes were always shining when he talked about it. Zhou Yan, I know how to rap. He improvised a freestyle. Xianxia also tried humming a scene. Su Rendong's eyes shone even brighter. His brain, which was originally dried up, was now like a dry well that was suddenly filled with water. Inspiration. Boundless inspiration was gushing forth with all its might. He took out a notebook from his satchel and quickly recorded the score. At the same time, Su Xini updated his status. Su Xini V. It turns out that taking a step back doesn't give you peace of mind, but rather, you've been forced to the end of the cliff. Rendong. This song is clearly mine. Why did he sign your name and his friends? Chapter 755. After posting on Weibo, he admired the content for a while and felt that his Weibo post was really of a high standard. It was both pitiful and retreating in order to advance. He even hinted that it wasn't the first time that he had been robbed. This time, he had to make a beautiful comeback. However, a few minutes later, Su Xini refreshed the app and saw the following comments. What the hell? Say that again. A thief calling others a thief? That's too funny. Ha! He's just a rotten melon. Everyone, let's disperse. This Su Xini doesn't seem very smart. What a beautiful, handsome white lotus. He's quite good-looking, why can't he be mute? Su Xini was speechless. Are these netizens out of their minds? Why aren't they speaking up for me? They're even turning around and scolding me. Su Xini was furious and was about to act pitiful to the netizens when he received a video call from his mother. He answered the call. Are you a fool? Didn't I tell you that you just had to endure for a few more years and everything in the Su family would be yours? Yet, you're so eager for instant success. You want to scheme against Su Rendong? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Now, You've outsmarted yourself and even implicated me. I might as well have given birth to a piece of barbecued pork instead of you. When Su Rendong found out about the composition of the song, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning and hurriedly deleted the Weibo post. Unfortunately, it was too late. This Weibo post had already been screenshotted by countless people and became evidence of countless erasure. In the living room, Li Jianghu was dumbfounded when he saw this Weibo post. What's going on? When did this song become Su Xinyi's? Ruan Qing also saw it. She clicked her tongue and said, "That's not how you do it." Li Jianghu hadn't reacted yet. Wasn't this song composed by Zhou Yan? Sister Yi and Su Rendong composed it for the second time. Ruan Qing looked at him quietly for a while and stroked Li Jianyu's head with a sympathetic gaze. You must have used up all your luck to meet Sister Yi and Shi Sui. Li Jianyu was even more confused, but he felt that what Ruan Qing said was very reasonable. He laughed foolishly and said, "No way. Half of it was because I met the two of them, and half of it was because I met you." Ruan Qing. She sighed and shook her head helplessly. Forget it, forget it. He's my boyfriend. I'll just treat him as a fool's fortune." Zhou Yan and Su Rendong were both northerners. Xianxia asked them what they liked and decided to make dumplings for dinner. Making dumplings was a very troublesome job for an ordinary family. From filling to wrapping, it took a long time. But to Xianxia, it was a piece of cake. The girl directly used her twin knives to chop the meat and vegetables. Her speed was so fast that it almost left after images. After mixing 3 different fillings, they brought them to the coffee table in the living room. Everyone wrapped them up together. Even Li Jianyu and Ruan Qing came over to help. There were all kinds of shapes and sizes, from simple triangles and ingots to more complicated crescents, willow leaves, and goldfish. Although other than Xianxia, everyone else's bags were horrible to look at. But when it came to making dumplings, the most important thing was to participate. Zhou Yan was really bad at making dumplings. He failed to make a few dumplings. He clamored for a beginner's guide and took out his phone to search for videos. However, he saw the trending topic about Su Rendong plagiarizing. He was furious. Su Rendong, your pretentious brother is causing trouble again. Su Rendong frowned. Every time he made a dumpling, he wished he could wipe his hands with a wet towel. When he heard this, he asked blankly, "I have a brother. Who is he?" Chapter 756. Zhou Yan was about to vomit blood. Your stepmother's son. She's disgusting every day. Stepmother? Zhou Yan was stunned. Su Rendong's confusion didn't seem to be an act. He really didn't know about the existence of Su Xinyi and his mother. I don't contact my family often. Su Rendong said embarrassedly. I have 2 accounts and I don't log into my family's account all year round. He wiped his hands and switched to his WeChat account, only to see a message from Father Su 2 years ago. Are you there? I'm going home. I have something to tell you. Su Rendong thought for a long time and replied with the word, yes. Zhou Yan inadvertently glanced at his screen and couldn't help but twitch the corners of his mouth. Xianxia made the dumplings quickly and beautifully. She asked curiously, what happened? Zhou Yan immediately flew into a rage. His brother just posted on Weibo and said that Su Rendong plagiarized him. He even said that Su Rendong's mother is a mistress. Bull**T. Su Rendong said in a low voice, let them say whatever they want. A straight foot is not afraid of a crooked shoe. Zhou Yan gritted his teeth. Why are you still like before? Forget it. Do whatever you want. I don't care anymore. At this moment, a marketing account released evidence of Su Rendong plagiarizing Su Xinyi. But Su Xinyi didn't say anything this time. The evidence was simple and to the point. It was a few manuscripts and a link to a niche foreign music website. The manuscripts were the music scores of several of Su Rendong's popular songs over the years. The link was a list of the songs that Su Xinyi had uploaded over the years. Perhaps because the website was unpopular, the most played song only had a few dozen clicks. However, time didn't lie. That was because every song was released earlier than Su Rendong's release. The netizens immediately cursed in unison. This is real. Su Rendong's acting skills are quite good. His brother is a White Lotus, but he's even more impressive. Although the Su brothers aren't good people, I feel that Su Rendong is more disgusting. What's the difference between plagiarizing someone else's music and stealing someone else's child? Zhou Yan, who said that he didn't care anymore, stopped learning how to make dumplings and started to gossip. When he saw the so-called evidence of plagiarism, he sneered. It seemed that Su Xinyi's stepmother had taken action. His methods were indeed much more brilliant. "Hey, Su Rendong, where's your previous manuscript?" Zhou Yan asked. Su Rendong answered honestly, "I threw them all away. Maybe I accidentally threw them away." Zhou Yan. Infuriating. Infuriating. This person is an idiot. If it was lost once or twice, it could be a coincidence. But if it was lost both times, it was obviously very suspicious. It was probably stolen by someone, using some kind of method. However, the marketing accounts claimed that Su Randong stole Su Xinyi's manuscripts. That was why there were those amazing songs. Just as he was fuming, Xianxia's calm and gentle voice entered his ears. "I have a way to prove my innocence." Li Jianyu. "Wow, what's Sister Yi's plan?" Ruan Qing elbowed him and gave Xianxia a look. If Su Rendong really did plagiarize, then Xianxia would definitely be implicated, and she would not be able to clear her name. Xianxia blinked, indicating that she didn't have to worry. She then slowly placed a dumpling on the steamer. We've now fallen into a misconception that the order of time is the most important thing. However, the most important thing should be the quality of the work. Or rather, the ability to create works. Chapter 757. Shui immediately understood what Xianxia meant and nodded in agreement. What the girl wanted seemed to be a competition between the two of them. But in fact, it was Su Xinyi's attitude. If Su Xinyi agreed, it meant that there were two possibilities. First, Su Xinyi was really capable, and the situation might become more complicated. Second, Su Xinyi might not be capable, but he could tamper with the music, so Su Xinyi just had to be on guard. If Su Xinyi didn't agree, it would be even simpler. He would feel guilty. In short, if Su Xindong was innocent, it wouldn't be a loss. Zhou Yan froze for a moment and also reacted. Yes. If you're capable, use your skills to speak. Li Jianyu was still dumbfounded. Sister Yi, do you mean? It's very simple. The two of them will compose a new song and release it at the same time. We can set a time limit, such as a month, and see how good the two of them are. The live stream viewers were speechless. That's a good idea, but how can we prevent plagiarism? How much money did Xianxia receive? She gets scolded every day, and now she's trying to clear someone else's name. Haha, what if Su Xindong's song is exactly the same as Su Xinyi's? After all, it's not the first time he's plagiarized. Shui seemed to have guessed everyone's worries as she said lazily, "Everyone's work will have their own mark. For example, painters will have their own habits of mixing colors and coloring techniques. There are similarities between different arts, and I think it's the same for music. The style can be similar, but the soul can't be imitated." Xianxia. That's right. Some busybodies went to Su Xinyi's Weibo account and told him about Xianxia's suggestion. Su Xinyi saw it, but he felt extremely guilty. How could he dare to agree? The reason why Su Xindong only got into a second-tier university was that there was an accident during the college entrance examination, and he missed out on 2 subjects. His prestigious school was donated by Father Su, and according to his standards, he wouldn't have been able to get into it. Not to mention his composing ability. Even the 4 oceans couldn't compare to him. If he were to compete, he would definitely be exposed. Hence, Su Xinyi immediately posted on Weibo. Su Xinyi v. My brother has a lot of friends, but I have nothing. I will always be alone. I understand. In this world, loneliness is the norm. No one will always be there to protect you. I won't fight for it. I'll give it to you. Is that okay? With the history of instant face slapping, there were obviously fewer netizens on his side this time, but there were still people who supported him. Why should Xianxia compete just because she says so? Who does she think she is? She's speaking up for the son of a mistress. Does she want to be a mistress too? However, Su Xinyi's mother called again and scolded him. As the champion of the battle of the rich and powerful families, how could she not have guessed that Xianxia's intention was not to compete, but to test her? Idiot! How did I give birth to such an idiot like you? If you reject him now, wouldn't that mean that you're guilty? This is exactly what they want. Su Xini asked in confusion. Then I promise her? But Mom, I don't know how to compose. Mrs. Su smiled confidently. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to compose. As long as Su Xindong knows how to. Mom will think of a way to get the manuscript for you. I'll find someone to help you edit it even better. Su Xini immediately felt that he had won. Mom, it's so good to have you around. He thickened his skin and posted another message. Su Xini v. Some things can be given up, but some things can't, such as my father and honor. Set a time and I'll accept the challenge. Chapter 758. The netizens were having a great time watching the drama unfold. An heir against an illegitimate son. There's going to be a good show. Many netizens were not afraid of blowing things up and even came up with ideas for the battle between the two. Hurry up, set a time, we'll live stream it. That's right, let's see who's the real plagiarist then. What's the point of arguing online like this? It's better to have an offline battle. No death fight, lie, no death fight, lie, doghead doghead. Su Xini was full of confidence and felt that victory was within his grasp. Su Rendong, you've enjoyed enough applause and glory over the years. How can a shut-in be worthy of being the heir of the Su family? It's time to give it to me. Su Xini believed that since his mother could get the previous song, she would definitely be able to help him get the song this time too. Now, he just had to wait for Su Xindong to set the time. Su Xini wasn't the only one who thought so. The viewers of the live stream also thought so. After all, composing was an artistic creation that required a process and couldn't be accomplished overnight. In the next second, Su Xindong, who had learned the ins and outs of the matter through Zhou Yan's phone, said in a low voice, "Let's begin then." Everyone was dumbfounded. "Ha! Begin what?" Xianxia asked thoughtfully. "Do you want to compose now?" Su Xindong expressed assent and sat down in front of the piano. He turned to look at Xianxia and said, "Miss Xiang, can I trouble you to set a theme for me? Just a word or two will do." Xianxia thought for a while and said, "How about love?" Su Xindong's style in the past was lyrical and the theme of love was very suitable for him. Okay. Su Xindong closed his eyes and began to compose. The viewers of the live stream were all confused. What? What's going on? Composing on the spot? How is that possible? Where does Su Xindong get his confidence from? How can he compose on a whim? I'm dying of laughter. I'm waiting for Su Xindong to fail. My melon seeds and chestnuts are ready. Most of the comments section was filled with ridicule. There were also some loyal fans of Su Xindong who were trying their best to defend him. Unfortunately, the results were minimal. However, when Su Rendong opened his eyes and placed his fingers on the piano, the room suddenly fell into silence. Even the comments in the live broadcast room seemed to have been cleared. The soothing and melodious prelude started the melody of a love song. From the careful probing, to the passion when the love was strong, and then to the loneliness after the sad breakup. Whether it was the melody or the artistic conception, it was impeccable. After listening to a short section, Xianxia was certain that the song was indeed composed by Su Xindong. He had long since formed a unique style. Others could only imitate his appearance, but not his soul. The audience gradually came back to their senses. This song is kind of nice. Was it really Su Rendong's original work? He's too talented. I can't believe it. I actually cried when I heard it. Is there anyone who can fill in the words? If this song doesn't become popular, the heavens will not tolerate it. His slender fingers slid across the black and white keys, ending the song perfectly. Xianxia and the others applauded. Zhou Yan clapped the most forcefully and his hands were almost red from clapping. Good, very good. Su Xindong, praise to you. Su Xindong is the eternal god. Su Xindong smiled shyly, but his eyes were bright. Miss Xiang, it's time for the second question. Xianxia was stunned. Huh. Chapter 759. Isn't it supposed to be a competition? Su Rendong asked in confusion. How are we going to determine the winner? Rock, paper, scissors, and the winner has to win 2 out of 3 games. Hearing this, Xianxia burst into a gentle smile, and shallow dimples appeared on her cheeks. As for the second question, how about missing? Su Rendong agreed. Sure. Zhou Yan's eyes widened. Are you out of your mind? That song just now is enough to prove your ability. Why are you still? Shui patted him on the shoulder and asked, "Do you trust him?" "Of course I do, he's Su Rendong." The young best actor smirked and said, "Then let's trust his choice and see what surprises he will bring us." This chicken soup for the soul was unexpectedly effective on Zhou Yan. He pursed his lips, and his tense body gradually relaxed. No one knew better than him how talented Su Rendong was. Yeah, I just have to trust him. How can the light of a firefly compete with the brilliance of the moon? Su Rendong was like a heartless composing machine. He repeatedly closed his eyes and composed the second song, Longing, with a high standard and a high degree of completion. He didn't need to modify his composition at all. He could go to the recording studio and record the demo himself. The audience in the live stream was dumbfounded. Su Xini, who received the news, was even more dumbfounded. Why is Su Rendong so unpredictable? Come on, this is composing. Do you think you're eating buns? Apart from being surprised, he was also flustered. If Su Rendong is composing on the spot, what should I do? In the past, his mother would arrange for a part-time worker to steal Su Rendong's manuscripts and he would publish them directly or find someone to modify them slightly. However, this time, he couldn't steal Su Rendong's manuscripts. What could he use to compete with Su Rendong? Boundless fear instantly drowned him. At the same time, Su Rendong took a short break and said, "The third question." Xianxia pondered for a moment and said, "For the sake of fairness, why don't we change the topic?" Su Rendong seemed to be in a dilemma. Some of the audience noticed his expression and began to speculate. Is Xianxia fake? Is she cooperating with Su Rendong's performance? Could these questions have been set long ago? What's the difference between this and cheating on exams and taking notes? If that's the case, it's unfair to Su Xini. Isn't this clearly bullying? The son of a mistress is still so arrogant. I'm so angry. I'm sorry, Xianxia said apologetically. I forgot that you don't want to interact with other people. Su Rendong shook his head. It doesn't matter. I can try harder. However, as someone with social phobia, other than Zhou Yan, Shui, and Xianxia whom he was familiar with, he could not even look at the other staff members. Li Jianghu had a flash of inspiration. Why don't we draw the questions in the live stream? So that everyone won't say that you're cheating. Also, you can just use your phone to draw. You don't have to communicate with others. Su Rendong agreed. She had a better impression of the entire cast of Two Under One Roof. In the past, whenever he was forced to participate in activities, the staff would advise him, "Teacher Su, you have to pull yourself together and face everything. How can you have social anxiety? It's just that your ability to communicate with people has deteriorated after staying at home for too long. Can't you just talk to people more?" However, everyone in Two Under One Roof would think from his point of view. It was really heartwarming. "Thank you, everyone. I'm going to draw," Su Rendong said softly. Chapter 760. It was rare for the live stream of Two Under One Roof to have an interactive function. Many people said that they hated Su Xuandong, but they couldn't help but click on the question. Su Xuandong's beautiful and fair fingertips tapped on the screen and the question was fixed on one sentence. Eating hot pot with friends at home in the winter. Sugar oranges are being roasted on the heater next to you. Ginger cola is boiling in the pot. Everyone was stunned. What? What kind of question is this? The previous two questions that Xianxia came up with were more abstract and there was more room for free expression. However, this question was too specific. Instead, it made people scratch their heads. How do you express hot pot with music? How do you express roasted oranges with music? Not to mention ginger cola. You're making things difficult for me. Li Jianghu said shamelessly, "Ha ha ha, this time doesn't count. Let's do it again." He couldn't say that to the guests for fear of being scolded. He didn't care. Let them scold him. He was thick-skinned anyway. Although Su Xuandong was an otaku, he wasn't completely ignorant of the ways of the world. Seeing that Li Jianghu was trying to help him out, he cast a grateful look at him and said, "It's okay, let's do this." Huh. Before Li Jianghu could react, Su Xuandong's fingers had already slowly plucked a chord on the piano keys. He closed his eyes and began to play blindly. It wasn't difficult to play blindly, but it was much more difficult to compose a tune while playing blindly. The viewers in the live stream who knew music were instantly shocked. He's too good. I'm so angry that I want to kick my brother who's been learning the piano for 2 years. To be honest, Su Xuandong's basic skills are really impressive. His fingering, strength, and emotions are all textbook examples. Oh my god, can this question be expressed this way? I don't know how to describe it, but I just feel that this song is so heartwarming. The music flowed like clouds and flowing water. Languages had national boundaries, but to a certain extent, music was universal to humans. Everyone enjoyed the song as if they were intoxicated. Unconsciously, they closed their eyes like Su Rendong. Xianxia leaned on Shui's shoulder and whispered, I really want to play this song in winter. Definitely. Shui hugged her. Zhou Yan, who was next to him, suddenly felt that he was like a light bulb. He cleared his throat and leaned his body to the right out of habit. He listened carefully to Su Rendong's song. He was still, as powerful as ever. That night, the live stream of Two Under One Roof went viral again. Well-known composer Su Rendong composed 16 songs on the spot. Their styles included lyrical, pop, hot-blooded, fairy tale, folk, rock, sci-fi. Every song could be said to be the sound of nature. Every song was enough to be passed down as a classic. Countless people had witnessed his creative talent. Countless people gasped in admiration at his amazing talent. I'm kneeling to the big boss ORZ. Improvisation on the spot. This is a level I won't be able to reach even if I study for another 10 years. Wow, every song sounds so good. I think it's enough to release an album. Zhou Yan's singing will definitely be very suitable. Su Rendong stood up with the help of the piano, but his body swayed because he was too tired. Hey. Zhou Yan hurriedly supported him. Thinking of Su Rendong's misophobia, he pursed his lips and was about to let go when he felt a small force tugging at his sleeve. Su Rendong looked at him and said innocently, My legs are weak. Shui sensed something and glanced sideways, only to see that Xiangxi's eyes were glowing, as if she had knocked on something. Chapter 761. He coughed softly. The girl immediately came back to her senses and patted her little face, returning to her usual calm and composed self. Little did she know that the fleeting moment had already been captured and recorded by the audience. Sister E is kowtowing to others while I'm kowtowing to Sister E. We're both kowtowing scholars. E is so cute, I want to F*CK her. Aren't Su Rendong and Zhou Yan at odds? Why do the two of them look so compatible? Zhou Yan's heartbeat sped up and his ears inevitably began to heat up. After Su Rendong steadied himself, he said fiercely, What are you showing off for? Why did you compose so many songs in one go? Aren't you afraid of overworking yourself? I think 996 is a blessing for you. It's the speed of a turtle. Su Rendong retracted his hand and resisted the urge to wipe it with a disinfectant wipe. Overcoming his body's instincts was not an easy task. That alone was enough to make Su Rendong's face turn pale. Hey, are you okay? Zhou Yan asked with a frown. I'm fine. Su Rendong looked at the camera and subconsciously tried to avoid it. After taking a few deep breaths, he calmed down and said, I'm fine, Su Exin. Exin what? Xiangxia reminded, Su Sini. Su Rendong first thanked her softly before continuing. Didn't you say you were going to accept the challenge? You may begin then. Wow, is this a declaration of war? It turns out that otakus have a temper too. The audience in the live stream got excited and began to pay attention to the other party. However, after waiting for a long time, Su Sini did not respond. What? Why is Su Sini pretending to be dead? Su Sini, don't be a coward. You're already done. Could it be that he's guilty? Su Sini is the one who's acting like a thief. On the other hand, Su Sini was so anxious that he was pacing back and forth. What should I do? What should I do? As soon as his phone rang, Su Sini immediately picked it up. Mom, have you thought of a countermeasure? Drag it out if you can. Even if you can't. At the very least, you can't lose to him when the attention is at its peak. Mom, that otaku Su Sini is just trying to ruin me. He even pretended not to know me. Does he even put me in his eyes? His mother was silent for more than 10 seconds before she gritted her teeth and said, Your IQ is really hopeless. Su Sini was not convinced. It's obviously Su Xindong who is scheming. All right, do as I say. I'll think of a way to get a few songs for you. When the time comes, you can memorize the score and open a live broadcast. Those idiots on the internet will definitely believe it. After exhorting him for a while, the call ended. Su Sini didn't notice that his phone was recording calls. He wrote a procrastination Weibo post. After looking at it, he felt that it would only be embarrassing if he posted it. Who knows how the netizens will laugh at him? It would be better to play the blame game and turn black and white upside down. Su Sini's eyes lit up. He deleted the previous text and began his Lotus Words and Lotus Words composition. Just as the netizens were about to disperse, Su Sini finally posted another post. Su Sini v. What's yours will always be yours. What's not yours will never be yours. No matter how much they slander me, I'm still me. My father is still my father. The song is still my song. Brother, when will you understand this truth? Will that day come? Or maybe it will never come. He opened the audio file and wanted to add a so-called original song, but he accidentally selected the call record with his mother. Chapter 762. The Weibo post was posted just like that. Su Sini didn't realize that something was wrong. He threw away his phone and hummed a song before opening a bottle of red wine. He poured the wine into the decanter, feeling good and elegant. Well, let's see what the netizens have commented. Su Sini took out his phone, only to find that there were dozens of missed calls. His mother had called him the most, as well as a few close friends. Even his father, who he rarely contacted, had called him twice. Su Sini's eyebrows twitched violently as he instantly panicked. His mother's call popped up on the screen again. Su Sini's hand trembled as he pressed the answer button. Delete your Weibo post. Hurry up and delete your Weibo post. The woman on the other end of the phone was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She had worked hard to compete with number 4 and number 5 for so many years and finally won the championship. In the end, her years of hard work were ruined by her son. Su Sini logged onto Weibo, only to find that he had mistakenly selected the wrong audio file. The song that he was going to post was instead a call record with his mother. I'll help you think of a way to get a few songs. When the time comes, you can memorize the score and post it on the live stream. Those idiots on the internet will definitely believe it. Su Xindong's vision turned black as he knocked over the decanter, causing the fine red wine to splash onto the carpet, creating a mess. He trembled as he clicked on the delete option, but it was too late. In the living room, surfer Zhou Yan not only saw Su Sini's Weibo post, but he also quickly downloaded the audio file. He played the audio file in front of everyone in the live stream. Tens of millions of viewers in the live stream of Two Under One Roof all heard the conversation between Su Sini and his mother. Is this the legendary I beat myself? Honestly, Su Xindong's mother's IQ is high, but Su Xindong's brain is not good enough. He's dragging her down. Think of a way to get a few songs? Judging from his proficient tone, it's probably not the first time he's done this. So, Su Xindong's so-called original work was probably fake. Su Xindong's 16 songs in a row was a true slap in the face, followed by Su Sini's self-destruction on the spot. The netizens wondered what kind of behavior was this? It was obviously. The gift was light, but the thought was heavy. As a result, Su Rendong was innocent. It was obvious at a glance who was the son of the mistress. Ha 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 ha. This little brother of yours only cares about the White Lotus attribute. You don't even know how to add some points to your intelligence. You need to add some points to balance it out. Zhou Yan laughed until his stomach hurt. Su Rendong was still at a loss. He rarely contacted Papa Su, and had no idea that he had a younger brother. To him, Su Sini was nothing more than a stranger that had appeared today. However, when he saw Zhou Yan smiling so happily, he pursed his thin lips and the curve of his smile rose. Thus, Shui found that her little rabbit had started to knock again. The little girl looked calm on the surface, but she excitedly fluttered a few times and whispered in his ear. So this is what it feels like to be a couple. It's so happy. Shui nodded. Yes. Xianxia smiled. Are you going to kiss them too? I'll knock myself. Shui calmly took out his cell phone and showed Xianxia his level in the #untimely #CP chat. It was actually max level. Xianxia was speechless. She had lost. Chapter 763. Xianxia took out her Weibo account and looked at it, only to see that it was a pitiful level 2. Her manager, Nan, often sent her something that she liked. When she saw it, she clicked on it and signed in. The girl's fighting spirit was inexplicably ignited. Her milky white face tensed up, as if they were two prodigies competing with each other in their school days. "I'll level up now." The little girl was as fierce as a tiger, but she was confused when she saw the mission. "It's too difficult, too difficult. The scholars are working too hard every day." She felt that these missions were more difficult than transmigrating. Xianxia naturally put her arm around her shoulders and touched the screen with her slender fingers as she began to teach her little bunny how to operate the system. Liking, reposting and commenting is a must every day. It's also very important to counter haters. When you post on Weibo, it's best if the content is original. That way the weight will be higher. Xianxia was thirsty for knowledge and nodded repeatedly, wishing she could take notes on the spot with a sticky note software. The viewers in the live stream were confused. Is Xianxia teaching Sister E how to surf the rankings? Shocking. I'm rooting for the CP, but they're rooting for themselves too. Xianxia and Sister E are already working so hard. As fans of the untimely couple, what right do we have to not work hard? Sisters, if you don't vote, I won't vote. When will Xianxia succeed? If you don't do it, Xianxia will be beaten down. Under Xianxia's guidance, Xianxia finally completed the mission. She went through the process in her mind and said seriously, "Okay, I got it. We'll continue tomorrow." Xianxia responded and skillfully switched to his alternate account to begin the second round. A series of posts on the leaderboard. "Xianxia?" The little girl was shocked and her doe eyes widened. "One account isn't enough?" The sister fans and mommy fans in the live stream were overwhelmed by her cuteness. "Our tutu is the cutest, she won't accept any rebuttals." "Ah, Xianxia is so cute. Hurry up and accept the endorsement deal. Hurry up and release the product. Mommy is going to spend money on you." Haha, Sister E obviously hasn't chased celebrities before. How can one account be enough? But what's wrong with Best Actor? Sure. He's a little too skilled. Xianxia had no idea that her actions had caused such a huge reaction. The fans of the untimely couple seemed to have been injected with adrenaline as they crazily rushed up the rankings. Due to the fact that the fans of the two were more relaxed, they were usually in the top 5. But today, everyone was serious and rushed up to the third place in minutes. Zhou Yan joined in the fun and used his main account to help the two of them hit the leaderboard. For a moment, his fans did not care about their own superfans and came over to help. In addition, there were also many insiders who personally went down to help the two of them rank. For example, Yan Nai and Director Yan, the brothers from C7, the model couple Mama Een, and Papa Shang in the circle, the idiotic Fu Jiayan in the emoji world, and so on. Xianxia and Xianxia's connections in the circle were obvious. Not only were the netizens enthusiastic, but even the staff of Two Under One Roof joined in. At first, everyone had been sneaking around in fear of being scolded by Li Jianyu. Who would have thought? The one at the top was him. "Brothers and sisters, let's charge together. Everyone." The director took the lead to slack off. When the person in charge of Weibo saw the daily active traffic today, he couldn't stop smiling. The two of them were already in the S list when they were alone, but together they were super. No one could stop them. In just half an hour, the untimely couple successfully reached the top of the list. It was terrifying. Chapter 764. Originally, the first place on the Weibo list was a very popular couple. #MorningstarFall#. Han Chen and Luo Charan had worked together on a romance drama, Sweet Biscuit, which had a wonderful plot and a sweet interaction. Recently, they had also participated in a variety show together. Hence, the couple's fans were at their wits' end. Seeing that their #1 spot on the Weibo list had been snatched away, Morning Starfall's fans were indignant and began to call for a fight. However, the number of fans of the two was completely incomparable to that of Xianxia and Xianxia. Usually the untimely couple's fans wouldn't fight for it, but today, they were on a completely different level. Han Chen's and Luo Charan's management companies had communicated with each other and felt that it was a good time to expose themselves. Whether the two could make it out of the entertainment circle depended on this move. The two companies secretly hired fake reviewers and even paid some protection fees to the public relations department of Weibo. Not long after, Hashtag Morning Starfall hashtag surpassed hashtag untimely couple in the Weibo rankings. Morning Starfall's fans, who didn't know the truth, thought that it was real data. They immediately felt elated and ran to hashtag untimely couple to show off. Oh, there's nothing we can do about it. Morning Starfall is really popular. My throat is so dry that it's about to smoke. When I saw the untimely couple, I was no longer thirsty because it's so hot, ha ha ha. Celebrity stats are so fake these days. Shui and Xianxia's stats must be fake too. I now feel that the number of online viewers of Two Under One Roof might be exaggerated too. After all, the boss of Xingchen Live is Xianxia's uncle. Their family, after all. Can't they take care of each other more? In the living room, Zhou Yan was confused. Are these two very popular? Why did their stats go up all of a sudden? Xianxia and Shui didn't have much of a reaction to the rankings. Shui said, "Let nature take its course. It's good enough to be in the top 3. Xianxia put away her phone and asked, "What do you want to eat for dinner?" Zhou Yan said, "No. Shui's sister E must be number 1. Su Rendong adjusted his glasses. He was introverted and not good with words, but at this moment, he also clenched his fists, indicating that he supported Zhou Yan. As for Li Jianyu and the others, he had already gone crazy. Sister E, I can't give up so easily. He had to continue fighting. Heads can be chopped off, blood can flow, but we can't lose in the rankings. Photographer Old Zhang. Yes, we must win. Old Lu, the lighting engineer, said, I'm going to make this list today. Even Jesus can't stop me. The others were also shouting slogans such as, victory, and fight. They were full of fighting spirit. It was like a scene from a hot-blooded movie. Xianxia. There's no need for that. The young girl cast a pleading look at Wan Qing, hoping that she could persuade Li Jianyu. Who would have thought that this bright and successful career woman would also be unable to escape the true fragrance law at this time? Her phone, tablet, and laptop were all used together, all for the sake of ranking. Sister E, don't worry. Today, I will definitely get first place for you. Xianxia. In the live broadcast room, the comments were unusually harmonious. The audience was united against a common enemy. No matter how much they argued, the couple that I'm rooting for must be number 1. I'm rushing, I've already started on the 4th task. Ha ha ha, my mom and aunt asked me in the family group chat what the top topic is. They want to support Sister E. I'm willing to not drink milk tea, eat fried chicken, or order takeout for a month. I just want our hashtag untimely hashtag to be number 1. This scene was still playing out in many other places. The rankings of hashtag untimely hashtag and hashtag morningstar setting hashtag fluctuated up and down. Chapter 765. More and more people from all ages were participating in the leaderboard challenge. In a certain office building in the CBD, Jane graduated from a prestigious school and had a decent job. She had always been considered someone else's child. After dealing with today's work, she took some time out of her busy schedule to go to the pantry. She was just about to check if there were any popular food stores nearby so that she could have dinner with her best friend. Her cell phone rang. Jane picked it up and asked in a slightly surprised tone, Mom, why are you calling me? Did something happen at home? An embarrassed and coy voice came from the other end of the line. Daughter, are you busy at the moment? Mom, if you have something to say, just say it. Is Dad's old habit acting up again? No, I just wanted to ask you. Do you know what a competition is? Jane was speechless. By the time she hung up, Jane's mouth was already dry. She gulped down half a glass of water, completely lacking the image of a city beauty. She then picked up her cell phone and started complaining on the Melon forum. Help! My mom is even more obsessed with idols than I am. What should I do? I'm waiting online. It's quite urgent. At a certain farmer's market. Today, I'm going to do a live stream of the vegetable market for everyone. As we all know, the southern market is very famous for its services. For example, when you buy chicken feet, you can cut your nails, and when you buy meat, you can buy a potato, and you can even peel it. A small-time streamer held a stand in his hand and interacted with his fans as he walked. He took everyone on a grocery shopping experience. The down-to-earth live stream made the audience feel refreshed and the interactive data was also better than usual. Bananas can be bought piece by piece? Watermelons can be bought piece by piece? Grapefruit can be peeled into pieces? This is my first year working in the north as a southerner. This is the first time I've seen cabbage being carried in a sack. I'm so shocked. The coordinates are north. Last time I asked if I could buy a head of garlic, the boss waved his hand and told me to take it away. He said that he didn't want me to interfere with his business. Hey, why are there so many people surrounding that stall? Streamer, please go over and watch the fun. When the small-time streamer saw this comment, he smiled and said, for a streamer like me who dotes on her fans, of course I'll satisfy all your conditions. He looked over, feeling a little puzzled for a moment. That stall was not eye-catching, but it was crowded with people at the moment. When he got closer to take a look, he heard the auntie selling vegetables yell at the top of her voice. Now follow me and sign in at the top right corner. Little streamer? Could this be some kind of illegal activity? For example, illegal fundraising? He was ready to call the police, but when he turned his head, he saw that the uncles and aunties interface was showing #untimely #supertopic. Nanny? So they were trying to make a list? The streamer and his fans accepted this reality in a daze. Schools, shopping malls, parks, Weibo, WeChat, forums, China, overseas. The leaderboard event was in full swing. It was as if everyone was participating in the leaderboard event. Meanwhile, Han Chen and Luo Churen's management company were on the verge of tears. Who could tell them why the data was immediately squeezed out after they bought it? They had already raised the price many times. Seeing that they were overtaken once again, the higher-ups of both sides were dumbfounded. There was nothing left, not even a single cent left. Once they stopped buying ghostwriters, the gap between #untimely and #morningstar instantly widened. Morningstar's fans, who were still arrogant just a moment ago, were all dumbfounded after seeing the data. Are we so lousy? Chapter 766. No, that's impossible. Morningstar Early Falls fans couldn't accept this huge difference. Some of the more extreme ones directly ran to #untimely #supertalk to make a scene. Don't you guys feel embarrassed when you're using data? Hee, it's really different when you have capital backing you. Is untimely entertainment very popular? Sorry, I've never heard of it. Smile, our Morning Star Rising is the hottest. If it were any other fan club, they would have already started scolding each other. Who knew what kind of bloody storm it would have turned into? However, most of the fans of the untimely couple overlapped with Spicy Tutu and Shursway's sister, so thus, the style became like this. Yes, everything you say is right. Our data is fake. Oh, I'm sorry, but our sister E is rich and beautiful. Shursway doesn't have much money either. One endorsement is only worth tens of millions. Yep, we're untimely couple from the Arctic Circle. Have some confidence. Morning Star Rising is not only the most popular in the entertainment industry, but also the most popular in the entire universe. Morning Star Early Falls fans. How should he put it? The other party clearly didn't scold him back, but how infuriating. This kind of perfunctory attitude showed that he didn't treat them as opponents at all. Instead, he coaxed her like she was a primary school student. Morningstar Chu Luo's fans flew into a rage out of humiliation. They all tagged the person in charge of Weibo, denouncing the injustice and demanding an explanation. Otherwise, they would uninstall Weibo. Usually, the person in charge of the government didn't show up much. Today, he was probably enjoying the show, so he asked the technical staff to check it out. In the end, the investigation failed. It's one thing for your Morningstar to be mixed with a little water in the data, but you guys must have mixed with the four oceans. To a certain extent, the officials had tacitly agreed to buy fake reviewers. However, there had to be a limit to everything. Otherwise, going too far would be as bad as not going far enough. The internet water army that Han Chen and Luo Churen had hired had seriously affected the user ecology, which was extremely unfavorable for the development of Weibo. The higher-ups held a meeting and decided to make an example out of him. Therefore, not long after, Weibo's official account made a statement. Weibo Technical Department V. After various inquiries, we have found that there are a large number of zombie fans and water army fans in the super topic #MorningstarFalls hashtag. In order to prevent such incidents from happening again, access to #MorningstarFalls hashtag will be suspended for 3 days. We welcome the masses of netizens to supervise our work. If there are similar phenomena, you can directly add us. There were also a few pictures that the technical staff had checked in the background. The wavy lines and column graphs above all directly showed the true data of hashtag Morningstar setting hashtag. Not to mention competing with hashtag untimely hashtag, they couldn't even enter the top 10. Once the evidence was out, no matter how much Morningstar Early Falls fans shouted, "I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it," it was useless. On this day, countless netizens witnessed his untimely popularity. The national couple lived up to their name. No one could shake his position as the #1 superstar. Phew, first place. Li Jianyu slumped on the couch. He was as tired as a salted fish. Yuan Qing, who was beside him, flexed her wrists a few times with a smile in her eyes. The others also had gratified looks on their faces. It was as if their own children had been admitted to a prestigious university. Pride. Zhou Yan was so excited that he pulled Su Rendong to give him a high five. Su Rendong resisted the physical discomfort and raised his fair hand. "Yeah, give him a 5. As his movements were too violent, a small silver object fell out of his left ear and landed right in front of Xianxia.